You're now tuned in to the number one podcast. I give you New Wave Shop Talk, Shop Talk, Shop Talk. New Wave Shop Talk, New Wave, New Wave. Got something on your mind? Let's talk about it. Shop Talk, Shop Talk. Leave a comment, we'll talk about it. New Wave, New Wave.
Real. Talk about these white women, you know what I'm saying, and these rappers taking up all the good acting jobs. All these them acting gigs. So all y'all directors, holla at your boy.
You're now tuned in to the number one podcast.
Hey, you loud and clear.
Thank you. Let's get this motherfucker started, man. Welcome, man. This is New Wave Shop Talk, man. You know, we don't know the motherfucking episode, you know what I mean? Y'all go back and count on. We on like 180. I don't know. You know what I mean? But I am the host, Dina Boy Juice, and to my right, we got
Swaggy D in the building.
Swaggy D in the building. On the Couch Cartel, we got
SD Pasadena Shine. It's all the same.
For sure. And we got a special guest in the house tonight. Stop by New Wave. You know what I'm saying? Introducing
your girl M.I.A. What's good? It's not missing in action. It's memories in action. Now you know.
That part right there.
Memories in action. You know what I'm saying? But we always start off by how everybody doing. You know what I mean? How you doing over there, S?
Man, I can't complain, man. You know, one day at a time like a drug addict. You know, just, you know, it's starting to get nice.
The weather?
Yeah. Starting to get nice. So, you know, that's always a plus in California.
Yeah. There's two things on it getting nice, though. You know, it get nice for civilized people.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? But for idiots.
Yeah. You know, but we always know at the beginning of the summer, it's always something that defines the summer, especially when you come from the streets. You know what I'm
definitely.
saying? But hopefully, because we've had so much destruction at the beginning of the year, hopefully people don't feel that way, and you know, we have a little empathy in our hearts.
Yeah, definitely. Because the fires brought out all the empathy. People was caring about everybody when the fires happened.
Right.
So
and we have to remain, man. Yeah. Because regardless to where we from, up top or down bottom, we're all affected. It's our home.
Yeah.
You know, we all got people up there. We all got memories up there, regardless to what goes on. And they got the same down here. So you can't front on that. And I don't give a fuck what you're going through. Maybe because I'm an older person and I'm seeing it different now. But I wouldn't want it like that.
Right.
That's total destruction.
It is. Uprooted a nigga from their house. What about you, Swaggy D? How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Shit, it's been hectic, you know. I feel like I've been running around like with a chicken with his head cut off. I've been doing, you know, so much.
Sheesh.
Back at it, though.
You know, we had a nice event yesterday. Turned out nice. Appreciate everybody for coming out.
And nobody called me.
Paula, M.I.A. Yeah, Juice just called you. I told Juice to call you. He never did. So it's his fault.
This nigga be lying all the time.
Face swag.
He be lying all the time. I didn't know about it till the night before.
Hey, you see my face?
You know what I'm saying?
Who is that a rendition of?
Do it again. Is that Mad Game?
Just close that up.
Swaggy D.
Right
Is that Mad Game?
That needs to be a meme.
Yeah, for real. That's why I had to have him do it again so I can get it on camera. You know what I'm saying? Look like smoked out bouquet.
Swaggy D.
Oh shit. What about you, M.I.A.? How you doing?
You know, personally, today's a beautiful day. As you mentioned, the sun's already coming up. My back is appreciating it, loving it, getting to wear the shorts again, getting to, you know, take down some of the layers. So absolutely loving it. But it has been a busy week. Like old boy Swaggy D down there said, we were out here on that event yesterday. So great event, but definitely ready for some goodsies later on tonight.
Yeah, definitely. We're going to get into the event in a minute. You know what I'm saying? Man, same old shit with me, man. I'm trying to make it, y'all. Trying to make it. You know what I'm saying? Man, life be lifing. That's all I got to say about that.
Yeah, for real.
You know what I'm saying?
We at
life
that age.
Lifing. You know what I'm saying?
We at that age,
life
man. What do?
You ever get to a point, I'm sure everybody in here has, I ain't the only one, when your family or your people think that you always got it. Like they can always call you,
especially your kids.
What, man?
You know, especially if you got older kids and they know how you get down.
Yeah. My daughter called me just last night. I'm like, "What you doing?" No, nigga, we air it out. Nigga, my daughter called me last night.
I want a disclaimer because I don't want to get the back end lash of this.
My daughter cool. You know Reagan's cool. You know what I'm saying? She called me last night.
I'm talking about her mama.
Her. Forget her. You know what I'm saying?
It's always my fault.
Nah, she was like, "What you doing?" I'm like, "Nothing." "What you doing?" She like, "Nothing. I'm bored. About to go out here with the kids and, some water balloon fight or whatever." I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool." She like, "Yeah, we got to have something to do. The Wi-Fi off." I'm like, "The Wi-Fi off?" I'm like, "Why did you call me or hit me when it's off? Why don't you hit me before
it goes off?
You know what I'm saying?"
They don't think like that.
Yeah, I'm like, we can, it'll be better that way. You know what I mean?
You don't have to pay all these fees.
Yeah, you feel me?
Dad's the one with all the answers, I hear.
Which one?
Dad's got all the answers.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, they don't like that.
I ain't got no answers. I'll just pay for it and keep pushing. You hit that little send button and then you forget about it. I think that's the worst thing about this day and age is that you could pay for stuff, whether it's online, Cash App, Apple Pay, Venmo, and you just forget about it.
There's a will, there's a way.
Auto-pay.
Auto-pay is cool, but I'm saying when you're sending somebody else money, it's like, If S was like, "Let me get $20 and I got to go in my pocket and give him $20. If I had 100, I know I got 80 left. Now I got to balance my whatever book it is in my head to know that now I can't go buy these shoes because I didn't see it. You know what I'm saying?
That's the only extent of it at these days.
Yeah.
Back in the day, I used to remember seeing my mom always pulling out the checkbook and always writing down every transaction. She'd always know how much is in the balance.
Because you know why? Yeah. They had to balance it.
Yeah.
My mom was a master at that. She used to balance that checkbook. But you got to understand, in their generation, that was important. Itemizing, Now, a lot of our young people.
No, they don't know because it's all digital.
We don't even know. We're even worse.
But
I'm going to be honest.
We took that in school, though. We took economics, and in economics, they
I was
had
born in the
balanced
70s.
checkbooks.
So I still hold on to some of those.
Yeah. What year was you born?
90.
Yeah, we was born
in 78.
You know what I'm saying?
I still hold on to some of those philosophies. I still remember typing class. I still remember economics. I still remember, at some point we had to go and cook and do certain things.
Home economics.
Home economics.
Yeah.
Home ec.
Yeah, home ec.
They had mechanic shop, wood shop, all those good stuff.
That.
We don't got
what's
that
funny? All that stuff when we were coming up was gone. It was gone.
She was just
didn't exist
no more.
It's even worse.
Yeah.
It's even worse right now.
Yeah. Who done made ashtrays for the parents? You know what I'm saying? Because everybody's parents smoked back in the day.
That was with the clay. Remember you do the clay? Yeah, clay.
Ceramics class.
Wood class was
Come on, man.
Yeah.
Those were things that defined us. Yeah. Regardless to even whatever experience we had in that class, we all remember it.
I think that's why, like, older people, not just men, but women too, older people can do a little bit of everything. Yeah. And then when the kids see you do stuff, they be like, "You could do that?" Yeah. Like, "Yeah, fool, I've been doing this since I was like 11, 12. But you know what I'm saying?
Look how school was designed when we were all coming up. You had to be, a jack of all trades.
Yeah, definitely.
Kind of.
Yeah.
If you kind of look at it, they gave you a bunch of different trades. Now, it's like you got to conform to what we want you to do.
Yeah, that is true.
They got high demand out here. High demand for that one type.
Yeah, definitely. And no, everybody want to be a social media star.
Yeah.
Everybody thinking they real is going to blow up and they going to be the next, you know what I'm saying?
I'm going to keep it 100 with you. If you look at it, a lot of these young people, all they got to do is one thing. And if that goes viral, that gives them an opportunity to create a lane for themselves.
Yeah, definitely.
I love the idea of how many millionaires are coming up overnight. We got 10-year-olds becoming millionaires, got bigger banks than me right now. It's like, what's going on?
Yeah.
But when you think about it from an economic standpoint, it's like, wait a minute. Like, this is really hurting the long run here. Like, who's going to do the the buildings.
Yeah.
You know, who's going to be the one that are farming on the lands?
Mm-hmm.
You know, who are going to
Right.
be the ones?
Yeah.
What it does, on to piggyback off what you're saying too, it also gives that kid a false sense of reality.
Oh, man.
Like, I'm bringing it home.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I'm bringing it home. I'm taking care of mom and dad. I could do and say what I want.
Yeah.
That's not hard
Ooh,
work,
that
though.
hurts.
That's not.
I
They're
can
not,
still
they not
whoop your
appreciating
ass.
hard work.
Well, I'm gonna
Yeah,
tell you
they not.
this.
So I definitely don't support that.
I don't disregard anybody's hustle, but a hustle is a hustle.
Yeah.
And if you can make it sitting at home doing reels, and you have an idea, and you know how to, so be it.
But here's the thing. I'm all for that too as an entrepreneur. My parents, traditional, born 1950, right? They did not support it because they're like, where's the work ethic, right? They're like, that's not something you're going to make a living off of. But at the same, like you're saying, is like, okay, if they're making money, like, hey, who cares? Because they're putting food on the table, they're providing the bills, they're taking care of themselves, they're sufficient. But again, as somebody who's coming from the 1970s, right? Think about the work ethic that you got because you put in that grind. You know what I mean? Think about what now you know if the lights go out, you know how to go and handle things on the outside.
But
You know,
think
handle
about
the
this.
street.
And I thought about this the other day because me and him were just having this conversation in the car. Me and Dina Boy Juice. Imagine your whole life. We come up in the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s. A lot of the stuff that we learned are pretty much exempt now. Think about that. Some of not some of the, I said that wrong. Not some of the things that we learned, but a lot of the jobs, a lot of the things that we aspired to do. Now it's a little bit different. We come up doing music. We come up, and I look at the music game now as opposed to when we were doing it, and it was a harder grind. We didn't understand social media because we didn't understand how we were going to get paid. But young people have a full understanding
At their fingertip.
But what I've seen with social media, with all the people who've done it in the beginning, who did it, who started when this first popped off, they're all movie stars and doing other things. So at least it does lead you to other things.
Well, on top of that conversation, right, I did a report on AI integration, right? Technology is moving so fast. Where things are now, imagine in the next 5 to 10 years where things are going to be, as far as job-wise, right? Back in the day, take it back 30 years ago, I mean, job opportunity was there. The need and demand for labor, people, human beings was there. But right now, it's getting kind of sketch. But I'll tell you this.
They don't need humans. They don't need actual bodies.
Man, they got robots doing massages these days. It's wild.
Let me give you an example.
burgers.
Not to cut you off. Give you an example. Today, I'm on the phone trying to get a warranty, a manufacturer warranty. It's fucking AI. It's not a real person. And they're like, man, we're trying it out to see how it works and get the bugs and the kinks out of it. And, and it's like, damn. So I said to the guy, I'm like, man, what's funny is that, once you get all this working, that's going to take your job. He's like,
But was that animated? How did you know it was animated? Could you hear it and like, we know this isn't a home?
Because it had fake typing in the back. It had like a fake background. But the moment I asked the question, it couldn't answer my question. It stood with the dialogue and it stood with the speech.
You know what? Let me tell you something. I work at a STEM facility, so I'm around a lot of tech, right? This guy put me on game to this AI podcasting. You just feed it in a prompt or like say an article on something, right? That sucker will back to back have a full on podcast and it's AI generated. You wouldn't even recognize the voice. There's no typewriting in the background. And you can literally have live feed typing in and it will automatically go. It will feed it in and respond naturally. So this trips me out because it makes me ask, what the hell am I listening to these days? Like, what's really authentic?
Well, we know simulations. Coming up, we've heard radio shows and different things that have been pre-recorded earlier. We come up in the time where we used to watch basketball and it was pre-recorded, especially in our parents' generation. In the 80s, watching a basketball game, it was pre-recorded.
Yeah.
You know what
and
I'm
it
saying?
already happened.
It wasn't live like it is
I didn't
now.
know that, and I'm a little hurt. Like all my
look at that.
flashbacks of all these games, I'm like, it was pre-recorded.
From the 70s up until...
It's from hours before. It's not like, it's basically, y'all call it these days tape delay.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying?
Correct.
But yeah, they was pre-recorded because if somebody's playing, like I'm in Atlanta, he was in Iowa. So
Central
if a game
time,
comes on at
Atlanta
7
time.
o'clock in Ohio or whatever, in California, it's gonna be 4 o'clock.
No. In
Yeah.
California.
Oh yeah. Okay,
No,
that makes
5.
sense.
2 hours
That makes
later.
sense.
Yeah,
but
3
they
hours.
gonna start it at 7 o'clock.
Regardless.
You know what I'm
any
saying?
place,
So
right?
the
it's the same
games
time.
that start at 7 over here start at 10 over there. So they still, you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like those games, they may be the next day. You may not get those until the next day. But, you know, that's David Stern. He was like, shit, we about to do this live.
Do you remember when the TV used to go off?
What do you mean go
like
off?
at 12 o'clock?
Oh, yeah.
You remember that?
Dang,
Yeah.
nostalgic.
Yeah.
That was real. Oh
You
my
know,
god.
It's funny, like we're old as fuck, but I remember Benny Hill and then that. And then TV would go off. And it would come on at like 6 in the morning.
Yeah.
And then you'll get your cartoons
Oh my
up
God.
until about 9.
Like 8 to the news.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. You're right.
On
News
the
will come
dot.
on first.
Definitely.
And then you get your cartoons. You're right.
For sure.
And this is off one channel.
Well, every channel
No, it's
basically
every
back in the day
I
went
was
on.
like-
You had no
until
channel
cable started.
other
until
than cable.
started
Exactly.
in like the 80s.
Like
you know what I'm
me.
saying?
When I was coming up in the 80s, I used to like Nickelodeon when it first came out. But it at a certain time, at about 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, Nickelodeon cut off.
What was it after that?
Nothing. It was just
It wasn't Nick at
static.
Night yet.
Like that's what TV was. When you go to the channel, you just hear
that
Can you
color
imagine
display.
if your children sat there 9 o'clock at night, sitting there like ready for the next channel, and then that boop, they would lose their mind.
They would.
shit.
They would.
You know, it's dope
They would
about
grab a
that, though?
tablet.
Think about
But
this.
then imagine the internet goes out too at night. They'd be like,
Well,
now
it's
what?
time to go to bed,
now,
little nigga.
now, you know, they'd be on suicide watch that
Yeah,
that
definitely.
internet go out.
Yeah.
But it's funny, like with us, like not too long ago, we've been having internet problems with Spectrum over our way. We've
No
been having
offense,
power
Spectrum. I
outage,
can't stand them.
and we didn't have internet for one day. So you know, I had them pull out the DVDs, and they were like, "Man, you got all these DVDs," and it's like, "Why you got all these DVDs?" This is why. This is why. That's why
Something
I still have
happened.
that laser
Yeah.
disc player.
We got another option.
This is why.
That's right.
I think kids, and I know this will probably never happen, but
So why you
5
act like
days,
he ain't never lived?
no-
He ain't saying nothing.
No movies, no internet. What the heck are these kids gonna do? They're gonna lose their mind.
So check this out. I remember in the 80s, late 80s, we had a power outage here in Pasadena. Power outage was 5 days. We had no power in the city for 5 days.
That's a lot.
That's a long time. You know, but I'm going to tell you what, that was the best 5 days of my life.
Really? What did you guys do? Fill us in.
Came together. We barbecued every day before the sun went down. We made sure everybody ate. At night, we had water balloon fights and egg fights. You know, it
Time
just
night
was.
came, you was ready to go to sleep.
Huh? Well,
I was expecting to hear
man,
that. He said,
I
water balloon
remember.
fights.
I remember. I made a fort on my patio, and you know, we just had the greatest time for those 5 days when the power was out. We didn't think about Wi-Fi. We didn't think about TV.
Definitely.
We played basketball at the park during the day.
Oh, that's nice.
And you know, we did things. We were active.
That's when kids was
And,
going outside.
and what's funny now is these young boys now, if they don't have that Wi-Fi, they can't pick up their phone. And I'm guilty too, because my Wi-Fi was off and I kept doing this shit.
Man,
Even knowing the Wi-Fi was out.
It's
Yeah,
because
you checking.
it's a religious habit.
you checking.
We're all of us. Keep it 100.
No, straight up.
Wi-Fi ever went off, and y'all religiously y'all just damn Wi-Fi's off, you know, or the phone ain't working.
For sure.
Like when we all switch our phones over from different plans, your phone was switched off. That motherfucker couldn't talk to us for 2 days.
Yeah.
That motherfucker was on suicide watch. He was like, "Whoa, I got my phone, nigga."
Man, you know what I'm saying? What
Look,
y'all
he
doing?
don't never look. When he called me, "What up?"
Oh. I would feel
man.
so uncomfortable.
Let's keep it pushing, man. Let's keep it pushing. You know what I'm saying? We're going to get into M.I.A. You know what I mean?
Bust it down.
Man. You know, we welcome you here. You know, I met you yesterday twice. The first time you didn't remember me because you was running like a chicken with your head cut off.
I was.
You know what I'm saying? Moving all around. So first we gonna let's see. I'm gonna get back to you just 1 second. Swaggy, you gonna introduce what happened yesterday at New Wave Barbershop real quick.
New Wave Barbershop yesterday. We had a nice event. You know, did a little something for the community, giving out haircuts for the people who are affected by the fires. You know, it's been a traumatic experience for everybody in Altadena and the Pasadena area. So, you know, we want to do something here at New Wave Barbershop. Look out for the community. You know, give back. You know what I mean? So I appreciate everybody who came out and showed their support. You know, Paula. You know, the law firm Becker Group. You know, they came out and showed some support. M.I.A. She did her thing. Appreciate everybody. You know, it was a nice event, though. You know, I was very happy.
You said you did poetry and rap?
Man, they had a caricature guy out here.
I love that.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like we was at the beach. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. He was drawing people's pictures.
Every time I went through, he was busy. I was like, oh, man, I'm out of here.
Yeah, he was drawing pictures.
Yeah. So,
You
M.I.A., you was a very integral part of yesterday. Can you first tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so chicken without a head, right? I'm definitely was all up in the action. At a young age, very creative, you know, got into the passion of taking photos. Just like yourself, how you talk about wood shop, all those type of classes. So I took a photography class. And I found that I had a big passion for capturing these moments and the impact it made on people when they could remember and reflect on these moments.
Right.
And at that time, we had a lot of, you had to print your photos in order to see your photos.
Yeah.
So I love that. And I love the idea of memories. I thought it was really cool. One of the greatest statistics, and kind of interesting that this is being said around the time period that we're having it, but when your house is on fire, the number one thing statistically people go for is their photos. Right?
Real shit.
Real. Straight up. Like,
you can never get those back. You can get everything back.
The moments in time. Yeah.
Yeah.
That shit is important because when you look at those, that's your lineage. That's your measurements of coming up. That's funny you said that.
Yeah, and you think back to it, like my grandfather, he had dementia, Alzheimer's. So when he started losing his memories, like these were kind of some of the things that we held on to keep the memory alive, right? So as I started getting on in my life, I progressed and started doing portraits for people, family portraits, got into, if anyone who remembers Olin Mills.
Oh, come on.
Come on now, those are my baby photos right there.
Got them in the gold on the bottom.
Yes,
Man.
exactly.
Shit if you went to Ola Mills.
Yeah, it was a thing, right? And that eventually got bought out with Life Touch and grew into graphic design, got into the media, got into business, got into branding, marketing.
At the one in Monrovia?
No, see, I'm IE.
Okay.
I'm from the IE. So my Olin Mills was at the Kmart off Alessandro.
I know where that is.
Yeah.
Riverside.
I lived in Riverside. I lived in San Bernardino. I lived in Chino.
Sheesh.
Do Rubidoux a lot.
Yeah, Rubidoux nice.
Shit.
So it is. I love
nice.
Rubidoux. Okay. All right.
Metro.
The hood of
Metro.
Rubidoux is a whole different block, right? But I'm talking about the Mount Rubidoux. Mount Rubidoux is really nice. But
The projects off the
Riverside.
freeway.
yeah. No, it depends what part of Rubidoux we're talking
We did a video
about.
there. Yeah, we did a video on the projects that was broken down right there.
Yeah.
Right off the freeway. That's what we did, right? Yeah, I remember that.
But that hustle really started off hard. To talk about Olin Mills, that was one of my first jobs. Is I had to sell coupons to get your guys' portraits, and I got paid $1 for those coupons. Like, I didn't get paid hourly. Right. So I had 8 seconds to kind of win people over.
Right.
So, I mean, the hustler's always been there, and I really thrive in that. And that's why when people meet me, they're like, oh, M.I.A., and they're like, oh, missing in action. And I'm like, I don't think you know who I am.
Right.
Like, I am all up in the action. What you mean? So instead of taking that and getting pissed the hell off every time, I was like, you know what? Own it. It is missing in action. But you know what? I re-identify now as memories in action. So that's where I've been at, 34 years old, really thriving right now in business. Got the opportunity to be here at the event yesterday. Shout out to Paula and, the hard work that she's been putting in for the community. I've got to expand outside of the IE. I'm out in SoCal now, working NorCal. So I've really got my hands wet in the territory, and I just love the idea of community building and being a part of those memories, whether that's with the entrepreneur who's got a dream, the American dream, and then taking that and escalating it to where they're at now. I got law firms out in Los Angeles. She was just a young girl, and she grinded hard to get the licensing that she needed to become a lawyer, and kind of seeing that timestamp and knowing that, like, wow, like she worked hard for that. And seeing that expand is just like, it's just a evolutionary experience for myself, and I love it.
Man, that's dope. And you were talking about, you do branding too, right? Mm-hmm. Tell us a little bit about the branding.
So, strange enough, I had never had the intention of being in branding and marketing. Mm-hmm. It just so happens that when I wanted to stunt on my name, right? So I was like, okay, M.I.A. is one thing, but I want to wear a brand that represents my mission statement, and that was Elevated Saints. Right. So once people found out I started designing my logos, making my apparel, they're like, oh, can you do my logo? Mm-hmm. Oh, can you do my shirts? And I was like, sure, because Hustler's not going to turn down the opportunity.
Yeah, definitely.
So I took it. But, after I started self-reflecting about it as a young girl, and I call myself schmuck all the time, I was a little schmuck at one point in age.
Right.
I thought back about how in the first grade I was actually making like clubs and making little flyers, like being in the seventh grade, being people's, how would you call it? Not nanny, but when you take care of the kids, what you call that?
It's a nanny.
nanny.
Babysitter.
Babysitter.
Yeah.
So I was making business cards, little paper business cards in seventh grade, right? So like this was kind of already in the works of it, right? So it's been something that.
Hold on. So. You basically saying, correct me if I'm wrong.
All right, let's hear it.
So, brand building for someone else is kind of like babysitting.
In a sense, it was never meant to be.
Yeah.
It was never meant to be.
I gotta watch you, and I gotta make sure you grow.
Yeah, and that's kind of the marketing side of things, is because now with all this experience that I've had in the game, people want to know, like, hey, how can I save 2 years of my life? Right. How can I skip all the freaking door-to-door knocking and all the calls and finding out who's the shady one, who's the good deal, where's the gold mine at when it comes to your investments.
Right.
They really maximize on that. And that's the whole thing with the Elevated Saints. It's like, if I'm going up, we're going up.
Yeah.
Okay? Like, that's how that works.
A lot of people don't understand that in business, you can't always be about yourself. Like, the more people you help, it's more helping you. Because, like, back in the days, we was talking about back in the days earlier, word of mouth is still the best seller.
Oh, yeah, hands down.
You know what I mean? So, if you get 5 people, right, each person may tell 5 people. You know what I'm saying? Now you got 25 people coming to you, so with that being said, how do you not differentiate, but how do you make time for each one of those 25 people? You get what I'm saying?
Are we talking about in the sense of when I'm helping out businesses in their marketing? Yeah. Okay, so I think one of the most important things as a human being is I had to learn in Elevated Saints, I cannot elevate you until I elevate and fill up my cup first.
Right.
So as you can imagine, when one tells one, they tell 5, that turns into 25.
Yeah.
I have to sometimes say, like, look, I love to help you. Like, I love helping you, being a part of what you're doing. But at the end of the day, like, I'm called on a mission. I have what I was divinely given in my purpose to roll in. So I do have to kind of deny some, and it's not saying that I'm not going to help them, but it's just like I can only handle so much as one girl, right? But I'm at the point now where I'm trying to take in mentorship with other people that are interested. I'm taking them under my belt. I had Eddie out here, the poet and the singer. He's really ambitious, and he's taking on a lot of the craft. But really, it's about building team. Like, multiply this one seed, build it into the tree, let it bear fruit, and let those seeds multiply. Because like you said, it's just a hustle, but where's the spirit? My spirit lies in sharing love. My spirit lies in seeing people grow and beat those hardships. So I want to still continue to help those people out. But again, like, just knowing your balance, at the end of the day, you can only do so much.
That's the truth. You got to have balance.
Definitely. Do you get upset, like, somebody comes to you and say, M.I.A., I need branding, I need this and I need that, and you're trying to show them, like, all the footsteps to take, and then, like you said, they want to cut out 2 years, right? But they even want to cut out the baby steps that it takes to cut out the 2 years. Yeah. They want it now. So do you ever get frustrated with people that look at you and be like, this ain't what I signed up for? You know what I mean? Because even me, in my little, like you said, my little schmuck life, it's like you try to show people the way, and they like, nah, I want to do it like you doing it now. Like, man, it took me going to prison. It took me doing this. It took me doing that for me to do this right now. Like,
for real.
I'm trying to show you what it is right now, and you don't even want to go through those steps. You know what I mean? So how do you deal with the people that they don't give a damn about cutting out the 2 years? They want to get where you at now, right now.
I'm gonna be honest. I think that's one quality of me that I love. I keep it 100, and some people can't handle that.
Right.
I'll never say it disrespectfully, but I'm going to be honest.
Right.
And you kind of spoke on it on itself. Like, there's nothing about what happened in my life and the success that has come with that that just happened overnight. None of it.
Definitely.
But those that are willing to sit there and actually say, like, you know what? Don't just get me a fish. Like, teach me how to fish.
Yeah.
Like, I think that that's really the power in the motion, right? So I do get frustrated because I've lived a lot of my life pouring out into other people's cups, showing them how to blood, sweat, tears, being honest with them and telling them, like, look, there's going to be some tired nights. You know what I mean? You're going to have to push. You think I found out what I know because I went and asked me? No, I literally had to go up and down the block. I had to make mistakes. I had to fall. Yeah. And it's not really going to dig deep into your brain. You're not going to get it because you're moving so fast.
Right.
But I think that that's it's all about sharing the testimony too, right?
Yeah.
So for me, like yourself, like, you think it was easy? Nah. Like, it took losing a lot. It took being hungry. Like, it took asking myself, like, damn, am I really going to party every single night? Like, is this really about to be the life? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, how am I going to build that legacy? How am I going to build that foundation? And I had to decide, okay, like, are we really about to throw down 100% in the right direction? And I think at that point was when I started to see, like, not just the hustle, but the true growth within the inside, that the character that you need, the discipline that you need, the skill set, the moral, the value that you need. And I think that's important because the way that God kind of delivered it to me was like, you're like the tortoise and the hare. Like, both hit the finish line, right? Eventually. But one of them raced so quick and ended up missing out on so many great experiences that really define character. And I had to slow it down. And I think about it kind of like Super Mario Brothers. When you play the game, you could technically cheat code through the level and jump to all the way to the freaking end. But what's the joy of that? You miss out on the whole game.
Yeah, definitely. You don't know about all the tunnels you got to go.
It really depends, though. If you've tried to beat the game and you couldn't. It's like Mike Tyson's Punch-Out.
Yeah.
I think that's the only game I ever beat. And for me, it was
Sounds
one
like you cheated.
No judgment. We listen. We don't.
I kind of had to. Remember cheat codes and shit back in the day? You know, you had to
up, down,
come
left,
on now.
left, right.
So, you know, with that being said, you know, that was actually eloquent the way you put that. You know, a lot of people nowadays, they don't look to be decent. That's not something they want to be. You know, and
they don't want to put in the hard work.
Well,
especially
younger generation, you got to understand.
They want it all.
It's the microwave generation.
No work.
Yeah.
But think about it from an outside point of view. Those kids are most likely seeing their parents freaking burning the hell out.
That too.
Where
but
they're not even able to be home. So they do want to make the money, not because of greed, but because they want to set their family free.
To a certain extent. But you also got to look at it like this. We live in a microwave generation.
Oh, hell, God.
Some
even
people,
worse.
for us, we had to wait for birthdays. We had to wait for Christmas. Those were things that were really, you know, we held really high. All of us.
It'd be months. You'd be like, I'm going to get the Jordans. Oh,
Come
Christmas.
on. Christmas, yeah, you know.
Gotta wait till February, tax season.
You see what I'm saying?
Exactly. That's another holiday.
You see what I'm saying?
All of a sudden.
So it's one of those things where you kind of look at it and you be like, they had it different. I'm piggyback on what you guys were saying. Remember in our generation, Faces of Death?
Yeah.
We didn't know how many of them it was, right?
Nope.
Motherfuckers was making up. It's Faces of Death 16.
Yeah, I remember the monkey.
Yeah. You know, but really when we really found out what was going on, it was only 3.
Man.
You see what I'm saying?
We couldn't watch it all at one time.
At one time, right. Correct.
Man.
But now you have the access to where you can see that, the behind the scenes. You can get, you know, on the actors. You can get info on the actors. It's different. You could be a fucking genius nowadays. Yeah. But these young boys, hold on. These young boys or young girls nowadays, like say for instance, like with my kids, and I can only say it for my kids. You be like, you ask them a question. Me, I'm gonna go to Google. They ain't going to Google. They gonna freestyle it.
Yeah, ChatGPT that. What you mean?
I want to say something real quick. So they got this commercial. I think it's a Spectrum commercial. Y'all was talking about y'all was mad at Spectrum, but it's my favorite commercial right now. It's the little boy doing karate and shit. He got all the phones out. He got the tablet out. And the dad like, man, what is you doing? He said, I'm learning 20 years of Kung Fu in 20 minutes.
Oh, I did see that.
You know what I'm saying?
That sums it up in a nutshell.
And he copying all the moves and all that. And the dad, he play into it. He like, oh, you can't do that. And then he tap him. He like, what's that? He like, that's the touch of death. And then the dad fall. You know what I'm saying? So all that tells me is that even us as parents, we feed into the bullshit a whole lot of times.
Sometimes.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we give them the real, but, you know, when they're young, like that little kid was.
They can aspire to get it.
Yeah,
and that's my whole point.
Yeah.
So, even with any of y'all's kids, I don't know if you have kids.
I have an 11-year-old daughter.
So, even with y'all's kids, you get in a disagreement with them, or you know, most kids, I feel like they should pull the Google out, be like, hit you with the facts.
Bro, this is what pisses me off though. My daughter during the Google era, because I was a Google kid.
Yeah.
I would tell her, hey, you need to do this because this is what I said. She's like, oh yeah, that's the truth. Google it. Show me it's real. I'd be like, you know what? I don't like that. I don't like that because I'll try and
she took it to another level.
I was
she
like,
took it to another level.
You be thankful that you got Google, but I don't like when
that's
that
funny you said
me.
she took it to a whole nother level.
I was humbled. I was
Yeah,
humbled.
But like you just said, that chat GPT, you know what I'm saying? That's the one. Like, you just have to be detailed. If y'all ain't up on chat GPT, it'll teach you how to make 100,000 this year. But you got to stick to the plan.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you got to be detailed.
You can write a book.
And
you can
what
do anything
you want to actually do. You can't just say, hi, I'll make $1 million. They're going to give you a game plan, but are you going to stick to it? You know what I'm saying? Marketing, no matter what, you know? And if you in school, they will help you do what am I saying? Testing. You know,
now no more.
That. No,
they on that shit.
Chat GPT will, and we ain't talking about cheating. We talking about studying. They will basically give you questions for you to answer. You know what I'm saying? Of course, they're gonna have the answer. Yeah, no matter what school you in, nursing school,
you never been on ChatGPT
like that.
Come on now.
But
I'm just asking.
You have to be detailed.
I maxed out on that sucker.
That's one thing about Chat GPT. You have to be detailed in the questions that you do.
Your prompts.
What up, Donnie? Yeah, you know, whatever you ask it, you can't just say, oh, I want to do this. And they're going to give you a generalization. I did a whole movie script on there. And you just go through it and you tweak everything out. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. Coming this summer, you know what I'm saying? We're going to shoot the movie. We were supposed to shoot it last year. But you know what I'm saying? We're going to shoot it this summer for sure. You know what I'm saying? It might take us 6 weeks. We ain't Tyler Perry. We ain't doing the whole movie in 5 days.
I'm gone June 30th through the 7th.
Yeah, you feel me?
I'm gone June 30th through the 7th.
Yeah, you feel me? Yes.
Going on my honeymoon.
Aww.
Getting excited.
Look at his little feet curled up and everything.
Getting excited.
It did, huh?
It's
Make
funny, you know. I wasn't excited a couple of months ago.
I saw his feet curl too. You know, this nigga was 14, so his shit did like this.
Funny.
When I'm really excited, I'm like this.
It's
so
funny.
That's why I seen it.
I wasn't excited a couple months ago.
No, you was excited.
You was excited.
We saw it. You can't lie.
I wasn't excited.
Yeah,
you know why? Because I thought about the what ifs.
No, nigga, you almost floated out your seat.
You don't gotta be shy. Just say you love her.
I love her to death.
Ready.
Yeah, they all came. The white flake, but you know everybody else was there. You know.
Aww.
You know.
So where are you going?
We're going in the grill, Jamaica.
See, no wonder why them feet went up. I'd be real excited.
And then he gonna go to Jamaica again on my birthday.
Yeah,
you lucky motherfucker. I'm turning 50 next year.
Got it nice.
So you know what I'm saying.
Why would you go to Jamaica when you know we're going to Jamaica for your birthday?
Well, because you know why?
Because I'm not going with him.
You know why? You know why? Because that's what she wanted to do. And as a masculine alpha male, I'm gonna give her what she.
Yes. I got an amen over here for that one. Let all the men hear it.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
That's it. You know why?
I might have to reel that shit.
She actually deserves
There's
it.
$1 million places to go.
She deserves it.
Okay.
It'll be different. She earned this. It wasn't like it was given to her because she was a trophy and she stood by me and we looked good together. It wasn't none of that shit. She'll get dirty with me. She'll get in the dirt. We can roll in the dirt. She'll hose me off. I'll hose her off. We catch the bus together. Whatever it is. You see what I'm saying? So
You make love sound so good.
That's how it's supposed to
I
be.
know.
They said we will roll in the dirt. She'll hose me off. I will hose her off.
I mean,
I need
I'm
that
just
type
telling
of
you.
love.
I'm just telling you. You know,
For real.
I done been through some shit in life.
Get dirty, a bitch gonna tell me, man, hop your dirty ass
Yes,
in the shower.
Yeah. I don't got that.
Shit.
And, but you gotta understand this too. You gotta understand this too. If men like us, and when I mean like men like us, that's cut from the cloth. If we make that type of commitment, we have to be sure.
Definitely.
Give me $2.
Can you imagine though? In this generation, we were talking about technology, all this stuff, but imagine the dating life in this
Oh
generation.
man, that's
Thank God you're married now, because
Look, your wife is a click away.
it's hard out here.
Your wife is a click away.
hey, but you know what's funny? That's the reality of it.
And it works sometimes.
For some,
You know?
white people,
Yeah.
niggas, it don't work.
No.
You know why? I'm
niggas gonna try to get 7 bitches.
Niggas in Mexican niggas,
I'm waiting to
it
hear
don't
this.
work.
Man.
I'm gonna tell you why it don't work. Because we have
Preach.
our own idea. I mean, you know, they have their own ideas. I used to have my own ideas, but I realized that
He cleaned that
if
up
I
real quick.
continue,
Right.
if I continue to have my own ideas, I'm gonna be alone.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm gonna just be alone with some money.
I always listen to Drake, and one thing that nigga said I'm gonna take is that nigga said his mama said, "Who the fuck want to be 70 and alone?"
Yeah,
You know what I'm
and
saying?
that shit is real.
Yeah, shit.
That shit is real.
My mama going through that, so I understand. You know what I'm saying? I do understand.
That shit is real.
Don't nobody want
Because-
to be 70 and alone.
Look,
Right.
imagine this, and I thought about this one day. All of us have been at the 35er, right? And we see that old ass nigga in the club that's at the bar, and he buying everybody drinks and shit.
Yeah. Got
And
money,
we-
but no
and
money.
and we all looked at that nigga and said, we don't never want to be that nigga. The only nigga that said he didn't want to be that nigga was the nigga next to you in the grave.
Yeah, because he gonna be 70. He gonna be 70 at the 35er.
Right.
Where the
Right.
bitch is?
Look, we in there. I remember one night, me, you never go. I never go. It's me, you, Swag. We in there. We at the bar, right? It's this nigga in there. He like 65, and you can smell it on him. We all look at each other. Juice said first. He said, "I don't want to never be that nigga," and we left 10 minutes after that.
Yeah, it's a good thing we got the wifey at home. It's way better than sitting there.
Man,
Shit, my
definitely.
wife going. If I can't go, she can't go.
Man,
That's just real
I
shit.
noticed that about you. Like, you know, you bring your girl to mostly everything. You know what I'm saying?
You know why? Because I wanted to know what's going on, regardless to
Yeah.
if we together or if we not together.
Yeah.
I
And you
wanted
act the
to
same
know.
way.
It don't make no difference. But she also know the background.
Yeah.
But she also got to, be comfortable with the fact that she dealing with a nigga that come from some shit.
Yeah.
And, got that bone in his body.
Right.
But with that being said, I realized this. Everybody needs somebody.
Right.
And I'm going to look at every one of you guys on there and say that. At some point, everybody needs somebody.
Right.
Because it's hard out here. And for years, I was with a person and I was alone.
Right.
I'm going places with my homeboys. We not living life together.
Right.
I'm living life with my homeboys. Now, yeah, we go to Miami and we do certain shit. But I'm really enjoying it with my homeboy. It's not
Right.
with my girl. You see what I'm saying? So with that being said, we at a point in our lives where we just got to live and we got to find somebody to live it with if they're willing. And, you have to find somebody who's submissive because for every one of us on that panel, even you, M.I.A., you look like you want a submissive man.
Hell no. Hell no.
You want the check? You get the check on
I'm going to keep it 100 with you guys. All right. I will absolutely put a man in his place if he lets me, because I have it like that, I swear. But what I really want, what really makes me happy is that masculine man. When that masculine man comes in, it's a side of me that no man will ever see. Because he is so masculine. I sit there smitten like, okay.
See? Okay. And what she said was the key. She submits. Most women now, they got their guard up.
Yeah.
You know, they playing hockey. You know.
And they the goalie full time.
Come on, full time.
Yeah.
They got the stick out. They playing goalie with a stick. You know.
He like, I came with the stick.
And but nigga, no, we playing hockey with no stick.
Man.
Because they took it from us.
God damn. Oh shit. On the real.
But with all that being said, man, you know, being with somebody is not the worst thing in the world.
Thank you.
Especially if you're like-minded. And I think that's where we fuck up. We get caught up in the beauty and what other people have and what they're doing. And if that doesn't compliment us, it's never going to work.
I think you're missing one key component too.
God.
Huh?
God. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no.
That's
God
the
for
most
sure.
important.
And I'm looking at my peripheral.
That comes first.
When you said God, I'm looking at my peripheral, and I know it's Donnie, but when you said that, I'm thinking of Donovan.
Oh, okay.
And I see it right here. Remember last week?
It all comes together. It coincides. You think about Tony's grandpa, the pastor.
Yeah,
it all comes together.
Yeah, but no, what I was thinking about is a lot of young men or men in general. They worried about what somebody else feels, how they love their girl. You get what I'm saying? So they like, oh, if I love my girl, these niggas gonna think I'm soft. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like, if you want to, not even just saying a submissive woman, but if you want your woman to be good to you and you want to be good to her, you can't worry about the outside noise. You can't worry about the way another person look at you.
This goes back to what Swaggy D says, though, because he's saying these people don't know how to work hard. And that's the thing from a female's perspective. We want to be submissive.
Right.
But unfortunately, we got too many dudes out there that are just lazy.
It's fucked up.
They don't know how
to.
They think that, I mean, don't get me wrong, I will cook and clean for a man when the time is right. But it's just all mixed up. And then obviously, I'll speak honestly as well for the females. We got some really strong bosses out there. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's all mixed up.
Yeah.
It's all mixed up.
I think a boss woman, excuse me, I think a boss woman, she still wants to be submissive.
Hell yeah.
But she just feels like at the point in her life where she's at right now, she hasn't met the dude that is equally yoked. And I don't mean like, oh, she making 150,000, he making 150,000.
He could just hold his weight.
That doesn't have to be the case.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? She can make 60,000 more than her, but his 90,000 make it look like he making 200,000 because of the way he is.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? And like men, they feel intimidated by a woman that makes more money than them. Me, I would love a woman to make more money than me. I'd be like, you making 140? What?
Everybody doesn't feel that way because of the problems that are gonna come with that. We would much rather, let's say, somebody like any one of us is a dude that has his shit together. We would much rather take a woman that's a step down, because we know what we don't have to deal with. Because with the woman who's super ambitious, she's gonna want to turn you on to things that you may not be able to see.
Right.
Oh.
That's a lot of men.
That's
but
true.
like she said, and we did this off camera. She said the word that she was saying was socialprenuer, right? So being an entrepreneur, I understand what she's saying. Correct. But if you're an entrepreneur type of person, not just 9 to 5. If you're a 9 to 5 person all day, every day, and you never had an entrepreneurial bone in your body, when you get that dominant woman that wants to be submissive but also wants to turn you on to stuff, you're definitely not going to see it. Because you don't understand putting your money into something and hoping it come back without getting a 9 to 5 paycheck.
Because,
you know what I'm saying? Because
you're used to security.
Yeah,
that's what a job gives you.
Yeah.
Monetary security. You see what I'm saying? An entrepreneur, you may have to miss a month or two without being paid.
Yeah.
But that's where the grind comes in.
Yeah, definitely.
Most people don't see that. Now, you're absolutely right. Absolutely,
It
fucking
hurts. I'm
right.
sitting over here quiet, like, damn, that's real.
The grind. Listen, for all of us,
Hold
even
on.
back to what you were
Can
saying.
I say something?
Yes, you can.
I feel like if you're an entrepreneur, you should get with somebody that's an entrepreneur just like you. And
Because they don't understand the hours.
Exactly. I'm not gonna date nobody that has a 9-to-5 job. Now that I'm an entrepreneur, I want somebody that's an entrepreneur and got the hustle that I got. We both got to have the same hustle.
Not the same hustle, but y'all both hustling.
Right. Both hustling.
I understand that.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't know if I would want a woman that's
You know what's funny? Hey, I sent you something. I sent you something the other day. Where the woman was like, I want to be a stay-at-home mom. And the dude was like, you can be a stay-at-home mom when you get off work.
The reality of a stay-at-home wife being a norm,
when you get off work.
It's gone.
it's not there.
It's gone.
In order to survive in Southern
Women don't want to be
California,
told what to do no more. I just gotta put that there.
You're right.
Hey, no, hold on,
saying,
hold on,
if
hold
she
on.
a stay-at-home mom or a wife, she gonna get tired of a nigga telling her when he come home.
she gonna take some random dick.
Let
I'm
me
gonna tell
tell
you,
you.
if
What
she's
if
a
her dinner ain't
stay-at-home
ready?
mom, she gonna take some random dick.
It's 5 o'clock, but
And I'm gonna keep it
stay-at-home
100.
mom.
You know why? Because she got too much time on her hands.
Definitely.
Not if her pockets are full. She could go out to the amusement park. She could take the kids to dinner.
It don't matter what you do.
But listen.
Go ahead.
But it's a lot of weenie ass men out there that don't tell their women what to do or cook or clean and all that. So at the end of the day, the woman don't want the weenies.
It really
She don't
isn't
want the
about-
what?
She don't want the weenie ass
No.
men.
Oh yeah.
He was saying,
Or she might want them so she can boss
I'm
them
not
around.
a she.
maybe. He was saying, my bad.
You get what I'm saying? Because at the end
No, I
of the
get
day,
what you said.
what I'm saying is,
I heard
the
out the
woman
side of
wants
my
a lot of
peripheral ear.
Yeah, right. You ain't
a
lying.
nice. I'm saying a strong woman that knows her worth. She wants the man to come in there, her man to say, okay, where my dinner at, or this and that, or whatever. You know what I mean? But that's not men to do that. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, the man, he'll run to the PlayStation before he asks us for some goddamn
Fact.
dinner.
Yeah,
Fact,
definitely.
right there.
He
He ain't
running to the
lying.
TV and putting what's names on. He don't give a fuck about no dinner.
But he was
You ate
saying
some
about
cup of noodles.
taking
You
a
know,
step
but-
down, right, on who you're dating. I find like, hey, if you got good character and if I see you coming from the scraps and I see you busting your cheeks, I don't care what
Right here.
you're doing. You know, like I respect that a lot. You don't got to be coming from a lot of money.
No,
Not at all. But I'll tell you this.
because y'all
I
can make a lot of
love-
money together.
Deep down inside, straight up, and anyone that knows me knows I have this conversation. I love when a man puts me in check.
See,
Yeah, I love
most
it.
women learn
I'll
that.
be like, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You know
Because you know why? Because I'm gonna give it to you because I know you're gonna say it.
That's a woman that
Oh, the only reason, exactly. So at the end of the day, not in a disrespectful way.
together.
It's only to make us better.
Yes.
It's never to go
Fuck
against
disrespectful.
Yeah,
No,
your
no,
mom
no.
and your dad together.
So I'm adopted. I'm
Okay.
adopted. So I actually,
Are your adopted parents still together?
they are. They
That's
got
why.
married
Right.
in their early 20s. They're 1950, 1952. They're still
Yeah.
married to this day. And she's a stay-at-home wife.
But see, that's your,
you got
that's
that
your
part.
But look,
My parents.
that's
You know what I'm
why.
saying?
Because regardless to what went on, you had a foundation.
They had
Yeah.
a foundation.
You had an example to see.
you had a foundation.
You had a foundation.
I don't know. Debatable.
Well, okay.
Well, how old
All right,
were you
I'll take
when you
that.
were
No.
Debatable.
I
How
get what
old
she's
were you?
saying. I get what she's saying.
I could talk about it because it's a very hot topic. Because my parents swear on God. What you mean? Like you had a really nice house. What you mean? From our perspective, we put food on the table. From their perspective, I love you, mom and dad, and it is what it is. But you know, like sometimes they're not right. Some days.
Oh,
When
that's
you're-
all our parents.
I don't know,
But
man.
we have to understand what they went through.
I don't know, man. I'm not gonna go into too much of depths about it, but the foster care system. This is why I'm a hardcore activist on it because there's sex trafficking up in there. They got people that are taking advantage of the money. You know what I mean?
And not
I
the
don't
love.
And not the love.
Yeah.
I had my mom in the house all the day, but it was like, here's your toys. You know,
Right.
my
I'm not
dad.
gonna play with you.
Yeah, like my mom.
Yeah.
She was there, and that's like, yeah, it was all cool when you're cute and cuddly, but once you got a mouth, and once you need like a full meal, an adult meal, not the happy meal, like it hits a little different.
Yeah.
And the money like acquired over time, but my dad was gone all day. My dad did not want to be a dad. He was a dad. He was there. He was a good father. He was a good father. All right, but he left at 3:00 every single day. He got home every day at the same time, 6:00. he freaking do the mechanic work, the lawn work, and then that's it. We catch him in his office, aka the bathroom, and he was out like by 8 o'clock every single day. So it was like, for me, I still felt as an adopted child, where was my dad?
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like, I'm not mad at him. It took a lot of years going through my own alcoholism, right? Going through my own troubles with the law. I'm a statistic. You know, this is why, again, I'm fighting really hard to advocate
Every
for
one
this.
of us here is a statistic.
You know,
Preacher's
so
son.
so to me, it's like, I love my parents,
We
but
all $5.
it makes me sad growing up in this generation where the money's getting harder. It's getting harder for people to buy houses. The American dream, getting married. I think a lot of men out there really do want to have wives. But I think reality is like, do you know how hard it is to keep a job out there sometimes? How quick they could be replaced?
Another,
Let alone a
well, what we've seen is a woman, the moment that things get tough, they want to do something else. And I think that's the difference between our parents and the new generation, is our parents at least tried.
Yeah.
Or hung in
Traditional.
Hung in, there you go.
Yeah.
They hung in there.
They tried.
Yeah.
You know, for some of us, we weren't lucky and our mom and dads went separate ways.
Yeah.
But for some of us, you know, they tried and they stuck it out and they figured it out. And now what we see, because we're the ones who are out there, is what we see is that women will make a decision to do what they want to do, or they'll make a decision for both of us. They'll make a decision for themselves and I.
Damn right, because we're getting tired out there with dealing with
part.
that crap. Okay, so now
and
it
you know
is
what's
about
right.
us.
You got the choice because you can foresee the future. Sometimes we can't. We'll hold on. Even if we know nothing is there, we will hold on. But you guys will make it a conscious decision. Say, I'm done.
Oh yeah. When a girl says she's done and she's done, you know damn well you
Jay-Z
done.
said it best. Once a good girl's gone bad,
She's gone forever.
come on now.
You know what I'm saying?
Come on now. That was the realest line ever in rap to me.
Y'all dropping some gems on them today. I don't know if they ready for all of that. You know,
Sheesh.
I just feel like man and woman, two separate minds. What they always say: men are from Mars, women are from Venus.
Yeah.
Right?
Great book.
So you know, you always, like, we always think like, gotta get the money, gotta pay the bills, gotta keep the house straight. The woman is like, well, shit, what we gonna do 5 years from now? You know what I'm saying? We ain't saving no money. You know what I'm saying? So that's my biggest thing right now is like, every bank account that I have an automatic saving because I'm saving for tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like, people, we got to get life insurance. We got to get, you know what I'm saying, trust going.
She's
you know what I
talking
mean?
like a real adult over
we
here.
got to get
Well, no,
a whole
that's-
lot of stuff.
We got to
going
understand.
on.
We come from
You know
the
what I mean?
streets.
Yeah.
So we understand about backing. We understand about having trust. We understand about certain stuff like that because really, in all honesty, we seen what our parents couldn't do.
Yeah.
Not they didn't do. It's what they couldn't do.
Because
And in
my
order
mom,
for
my
us,
dad, they never bought a house. You know what I'm
rented
saying?
their whole lives.
So a lot of us are like, we in our 40s and shit, and we like, well, shit, we got to buy a house. You know what I mean? Like you were saying, the American dream is gone, but what was we talking about earlier? If there's a will, there's a way,
yeah.
and we gonna make it happen.
Yeah.
So it's like,
we gotta
shit.
be here, or we gotta go somewhere else.
The
to do
tunnel
it.
vision is we're gonna buy a house, and it's not because of we want to live in a house. We can go rent a house if we want to go live in a house, but no, we want something to pass on. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's generational wealth with the house, with the insurance, whatever it is, because everybody's gonna die. But what are we gonna leave behind?
But
You know what I'm
about,
saying?
What about the statistics right now that are saying that the birth rate is so low? People don't even want to have kids anymore.
Well, you got to look at the kids like now. You got to look at it. A lot of kids, even in my household, I can only look at it from my household.
She a Republican already.
All
know.
my kids,
Right.
all my older kids have had to look out for their younger siblings. So for that, they don't want shit to do with kids. They want to live.
Yeah.
Nowadays, you get kids who are more into themselves and want to figure it out and explore the world before they just settle down with somebody. I'm gonna be honest with you. We all started having kids in our teens, other than Swag. I had a kid by the time I was 19. I'm pretty sure.
No, nigga, I was old.
20, yeah.
No,
You went to the
24.
prison. There you go. That wasn't.
I wasn't in prison then, nigga. Damn. Them niggas
Put
act
some
like I'm
respect
just
on
a
my
jailbird.
Yeah. Look, you had the kid in prison. I heard.
I
They
did.
said you had a conjugal visit.
I did. Ray J was born. Ray J was born when I was in jail.
They said you paid $1,500
not
to a
conjugal
guard
visit, but you know, my
bust it
kid's
open.
mama was pregnant when I went to jail, and when I first seen Ray J, it was behind the walls.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
No.
Yeah.
They said you paid $1,500 to a guard to bust it open. That was the rumor. But I ain't one to gossip.
For y'all watching this far, I was in the county jail. You know what I'm saying?
This is a real story.
Yeah, this real shit.
Listen, so
Yeah.
look.
I was in
So
the county
when he
jail.
acts like I'm not telling the truth, I just want put my hands.
It's a simulated truth. You remember the Sims game back in the days?
Yes, I do.
It was a Sims
simulation.
game. Yeah, it was a simulation. It was close to the truth,
Motherfucker.
but it wasn't the truth. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Ray J was
could've
born when
stretched
I was in
him.
jail, and my kid's mom brought him up there. And the ratchet part of the story is the nigga used to sneak sunflower seeds and cheeseburgers and shit in his diapers.
Dang.
You know what I'm saying?
Hey, you know what?
And double mint
He's
chewing gum.
still the same.
You know what I'm saying?
He'll
Yeah.
put on a diaper right now and do the same.
Yeah, he definitely
As a
will.
grown man.
He definitely will. Yep, anything to.
And take his lick.
Yep, and he'll take his lick. Yeah.
But
Oh,
all that
man.
being said,
We getting too real.
no, yeah. But with all that being said, back to the topic in here. With all that being said, love is a beautiful thing. Whether it's amongst
Bringing
homies,
this back. I love
whether
it.
it's amongst
Yes.
friends, whether it's amongst family members, and we got to remember, man, the thing that separates us from everybody else is the experiences that we share.
Definitely.
Drop the
Can't
mic.
forget that.
All right, Kobe.
You know the funny thing about it is, like, you would think I've known these guys all my life. I knew SD through a mutual friend, but I was standing outside one day and SD saw me at the store in 2009, and he was like, "Juice, is that you?" We've been kicking it ever since, and he introduced me to Swaggy D, and me and Swaggy D, we got close. You know what I'm saying? And these are my two best friends, along with my boy Meech and E.T. But besides them, these are the friends that I see almost every day. You know what I'm saying? Tone got threw in. He got dunked in.
Tone, but you know what's funny?
Tone been around.
Stick was here the other day, right? Stick popped up. Nah, nigga, you ain't.
No, you was grandfather.
You brought
then.
something to the table.
Right.
You
brought
was
something to the
grandfather.
table.
then.
Right.
You had you had 20 twins.
Yeah, you got to get some.
He had the Swaggy D texturizer.
No, he had a high top. No, he had a
low high top.
He had a low high
He had
top.
the low high
but
top.
he was a
He had
sweater
the
vest
beard.
guy.
He had the beard.
Tone was a sweater vest. He laughed.
He was. He was.
Tone was the king of the sweater vest.
Precisions.
Right.
That nigga had every color.
Precisions. Yeah. Trying to shoot baskets in the back.
Ones we couldn't get. He had.
Yeah.
We got to
He
get him
stole
some
two from
Beijing.
Dwight.
We got to get him some Beijing though if you want to be part of
No,
the crew.
that'll change his whole demeanor.
You want
He
to be
gets
part
some
of the crew?
Beijing. He gonna be trying to get
He's like,
27-year-olds.
I can't with you guys. I'm sick of it.
Fuck your couch.
Yeah, that's what he said. He's like, I just sat down.
Fuck your couch.
Anything else you want us to know about you, M.I.A? First of all, you talked about one of your clothing brands, right? What's the other one? You have it on today.
Yeah, so I talked about M.I.A, Memories in Action, and then there's Elevated Saints.
Okay.
That's really important to me because I knew that my divine purpose in this world was to speak love. Like, literally, I had that written in my Bible because 3 years ago, before I started the business, I was like, I got to find out who I am, in this freaking big old world. And this brand, really, like I said, was getting really inspired about what the foster kid goes through.
Right.
What the adopted kid. Let's not forget, because the system is built to help the foster kid. But I was adopted like maybe 2 years old, but I still hit the same problems as the foster kid. It was no different.
Right.
And I just really wanted to uplift people. I really wanted to encourage people that when they see an elevated saints, it's like, are you elevated? How can you elevate today? How do you elevate your saints? You know, how do you elevate your people? So I wanted it to kind of being that thing that could be spread around and uplift people. I kind of, on the shirts, I have verses on them, random verses, in hopes that it encourages people to pick up the word, you know, because to me, like, the word's got some wisdom. It's got wisdom on business. It's got wisdoms on the females to watch out for. It's got wisdom on the men to look for, the qualities that you should have, how to navigate. And I didn't realize that because I grew up in the church at a young age. But when you read the Bible as an 8-year-old versus reading the Bible at 34, it's a whole different book.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? So
Instructions before leaving Earth.
say it in the mic. We didn't hear it.
Basic instructions
Basic.
before leaving Earth.
Come on.
And that's what it really is.
The Bible.
Yeah.
For
So,
y'all that didn't understand. For y'all that didn't understand.
and I trip out because, like, that's why, again, like, I empower people now when you're older to read it. Like, read it again because it hits a little different. But, yeah, that's pretty much the brand that I started. I've been working on collections. Another thing kind of back into the photography is I watched a lot of Tyra Banks, America's Next Top Model. So I kind of grew up around photos, modeling. My mom was a seamstress. She was a porcelain doll. She was really good with the hands.
right.
Wood shop. She was a talented woman. I understand why my dad married her. And I just took off after her. I
Yeah.
did a lot of that.
You know what's funny?
That's right.
Let me give a shout out real quick.
Swag used to love that show.
Let me give it. Let me give
He was on there.
Hold on,
I was a male model.
Real quick. Let me give a shout out to my girl Tangela. You know what I'm saying? She was a foster kid, even though she knows her mom today. Tangela. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to her. And, you know, now her job is kind of in the same social thing. You know what I'm saying? She works for like drug treatment
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So it's like the people that make it out of where you came from is just like the number one thing that y'all want to do is help others.
Yeah.
And they don't have to be foster kids that y'all helping. It's just anyone in need. You know what I'm saying?
Real recognizes real.
Yeah,
like
definitely.
I feel like I had a lot of pain, you know. I had a daughter at 22 years old. I had 7 speeding tickets before I was 21. I'm not going to talk about the other things on the record.
Keep it to the misdemeanors.
Yeah, we'll just keep it there.
Shit, we all federal.
Okay, so like, yeah, like shout out to anybody out there that's kind of been through it, you know, because you got one way, which is death. You got another way, you're gonna be in jail, or you know, maybe you're gonna turn it around. And what trips me out about what he was talking about earlier is a lot of females look from the first, or even the men, they look from what's the face value, and you think by the way that they're perceiving their stuff that that's who they are. But as I get older, I find like, dang, when you hear people's story, they've been through it.
Yeah.
And if you just take the time to hear it, man, like, we are survivors. We are truly fighting a good dream. And I pray in my life that if there's anything outside my business, outside of branding, outside of, you know, this apparel line, like, I do not like seeing people suffer. I do not like seeing people go through pain. I do not like seeing people getting unjustly taken advantage of for their social security, for their tax money.
Let me ask you a question, M.I.A. Do you think it's a choice, or do you think it's something people can't help? For some, I know
What do you
the
mean?
situation varies.
What do you mean?
For everybody?
Give an
So
example.
suffering. Do you think suffering is a choice?
Yeah.
No, I'm just asking you a real question.
No, real, straight
Because I want
up.
to hear your perspective.
So outside of here, and because I know we limited in time,
There you go.
I could hit it deep on that question because I'm a
Elevator
spiritual being.
speech.
I elevated the saints for a reason.
Elevator speech.
Okay, so I know divinely God had predestined me and created my path before I even know. I have a necklace here that was gifted to me by someone that says, "It is written." So I already knew the suffering before I even came into this earth. I knew exactly what I was going to go through. But as a human being, I couldn't know every single page of the storybook because that would have took away the mission. God wants to feel what life really is about, right? Nothing about who I am today would have ever happened if it wasn't for the suffering. Wouldn't have happened for the pain. So I welcome it. I call it the diamond mentality. That's like kind of a sub collection of my brand. The diamond becomes a diamond because it goes through that pressure.
Right. In the rough.
In the rough. So
has
now
to go from the black diamond to the white. It has to be polished and surfaced.
Yeah, I seen a guy when I was at church, and this is one of many experiences that I seen God work in my life. Sunday, 2 days in a row. I'm like, how is that possible? I had the choice of sitting at church and getting the message, or I was going to go to EDC and party it for the whole weekend. Guess what I chose?
Church.
No.
EDC.
I went and partied it in Vegas for 3 days.
All of us would have did that.
But you know what?
She just said that, am I going to party every day? You didn't think she was going to say partying?
Come on now.
I was giving her the benefit of the doubt.
I'm going to be 100.
I didn't want to be one.
Testimony.
I didn't want to be one to judge like you.
But let me say it.
She's keeping it 100.
I need people to understand out there. Don't be ashamed of your story. Don't be ashamed of your identity. It is part of you. If I was to erase that lifestyle, where would the miracle have happened? Where was the testimony? Right? So here God is. He's made 2 Sundays in a row. I don't know how it happened, but I still got the chance to make it to that day where I heard this message. And this kid, right? You're used to a pastor sitting in front of a pulpit and you're like, okay, we're going to get another one of these things, right? Right? But pastor sat down at the Rock Church, San Bernardino, bless him, he passed away, and his wife, they sat there. This is previous drug addict, previous parties themselves, but they turned their life around. They sit there and they're like, talk to us, kids. Like, we are your grandparents, talk to us. And this kid, I couldn't believe it. I got tattoos, so no point intended, but he comes up fully tatted on his face, cholo looking, right? And he's like, yo, when is the flames gonna stop? When is the heat gonna stop? I'm getting tired of this. And I was like, dang. I understand what you're talking about, brother. Like, I'm straight up. And he said, son, I'm gonna be honest with you. It's not. I'm not gonna tell you that life is gonna be all rainbows and butterflies and you're just gonna live a happy-go life. There's gonna be some suffering. And I took that to heart. So now, though I'm not perfect, I had a bad week last week and it had me out for a couple days, but straight up, there's no way that I would have endured and had the type of gratitude and that mindset that I have now if I didn't welcome the suffering. Because you know what? Something's going to come out of this and we're not going to lose. I'm going to win or I'm going to learn.
Right. There's no other option.
So I welcome it.
Definitely.
I welcome it.
Dope way to put it.
Go ahead. No.
But that was it. That was it. It was a very dope way to put it.
No, that is a dope way because the suffering does come. And I try to tell my kids, like, I don't want y'all to go to jail. You know what I'm saying? I don't want y'all to do the same shit that I did and walk down the same paths that I did. And me and S was talking about this earlier. Like, when I'm talking to my son, it's like, okay, I see you doing the same exact shit that I did. And I'm trying to tell you the steps that you're taking are the same steps that I took. And I can stop you from doing all of this. And you were saying the suffering is going to come. But as a parent, right, you can also foresee shit. And you can be like, well, you know, if you make a left right here instead of a right, you going to be okay. You know what I'm saying? And when you say the suffering is going to come, it's like you can suffer going through this class, going through this school, going through this training instead of doing what I did.
Life ain't gonna stop life.
You know what I'm saying? Life ain't gonna stop life at all.
At all.
It's not. But we can deter.
We expected that when we were young.
Yeah, we can deter certain things, you know?
That bitch gonna keep rolling.
Yeah, it's gonna keep
faster.
rolling. Yeah.
My daughter says, I can't wait to be an adult. I can't wait to be free.
You should tell her, love this life now. Because
I tell her
you're gonna be older much longer than you're gonna be younger.
Oh man, that's good. It's a little too late for her. She's already 11, but
well, I got one of those, but you got to understand, you got to reel them back in, because with that being said, you know, these little motherfuckers, they think they know the way.
Oh my God!
But you got to understand this: you ain't lived long as me. You ain't seen what I seen, and the only reason I'm saying what I'm saying is because I've seen it before, and they don't get that.
I seen this movie,
huh?
No, I'm saying,
yeah,
I've seen this movie already.
I've seen this shit.
Yeah,
it's like, nigga, we sat back before me and Tony, we was in Bakersfield, and we seen
way
it.
back.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Back.
You see what I'm saying? So with that being said, and they don't believe us.
Yeah.
They think we're lying because.
Do you think we believed it when our parents told us
exactly.
Fuck no.
But see, my
so
mom.
So it's kind of the same deal.
Bless my mom for letting go at 30 years old. Eventually, she had to let go. But, like, my mom tried to protect the hell out of me because she told me the same thing. Mind you, there's such a thing as ancestral behaviors, you know what I mean? Yeah. But I'm adopted, but spiritually speaking, it still follows. She tried to tell me, and I listened for quite some time. But then I thought about it after I went through what I went through, and I said, Mom, I wish you would have just let me fall when I was in middle school, and those hits wouldn't have hit as hard as they would have hit
As an adult.
I think that
Because that shit tracks you.
it does. But listen,
7 years, dog, depending 10, depending where you want.
from the emotional state that we're in, we would have felt different at that time. You probably would have felt like, Mom, why'd you let me fall? And you knew this was going to happen. So it's a double-edged sword because we experience it with our kids. We're damned if we do, we're damned if we don't. Are we?
Swaggy, man, I want to hear from you, man. You being real quiet over here.
Hey, you guys got all the answers. So
We didn't got no
we just
answers.
chopping it up.
We don't
We all
have
just
no
chopping it up.
answers.
You
Pastor Dina Sean got all the answers.
No,
so.
man. See, that's one thing about.
Dina Sean got all the answers today.
That's one thing that we trying to get Swaggy to do. Like, we trying to get Swaggy to interject and speak his mind on certain situations when you feel the need. Like, if you hear something this nigga say that you don't agree with, you be like, oh, no, blah, 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 blah. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what this shit is about.
You know, I always interject when there's something I don't agree with.
Oh, so you agree with everything?
Y'all been talking some positive topics today. You know what I mean? But what M.I.A. was saying, I feel bad for people like that. You know what I mean? Who's raised in the foster system. Who didn't have family, parents growing up. I really feel for people like that because it's tough. Because I come from a big family. My mother had 9 kids.
Swaggy.
6 girls and 3 boys.
I'm gonna cut you off. When did you leave your house?
Dang, he finally said, like, hey, can you talk some? He finally talks, and he said, can I cut you off?
Watch this. No, because I gotta say this. When did you leave your house? How old were you?
I left at a young age.
What? How old, nigga?
Like 17.
Like 17. So
he was about 17
okay.
and he didn't speak
Right.
no English.
I just wanted to say that because you had a big family and all that, but you left the house early.
I left the house
Why?
early.
Who brought you to the set?
We're not doing that, okay? Let me tell my story, okay? You don't ask me why did I leave and all that. I had a big family. I feel bad for people that don't have a big family.
Yeah, that's hard.
Okay? It's hard for people, you know what I mean? Foster system, don't have a family out here. People are lost so.
Nothing.
Yes, I did leave my house at a young age, you know what I mean? Because I wanted something better. I wasn't happy in my situation. Yeah, I'm always going to have love for my family. But we grew up poor, didn't really have no money. My mom tried her best, as a single mom, single parent, taking care of 9 kids. So I felt like I saw an opportunity for me to better my life, and that's when I left home at a young age.
And that's what I want to hear.
You know what's funny? I got 9 altogether. And you know what's funny about
that's
that?
That's why the Brady Bunch.
But with that being said, it's a difference between mine and hers. It's a difference.
Right.
Like mine have this ambition, like they like, nigga, we finna get some money. And her kids is like, like
what game coming out?
like we finna play the game.
Yeah.
And they be tripping off my kids because my kids really like, they like me.
Yeah.
In my life, it's like, you know what? I could be mad at you right now, M.I.A. But if I get $1,500 right now, all that's gonna go out the window.
Money makes moves.
Since you said
that's
that,
my love. That's my love language.
But since you said that, right?
Okay.
Because you're marrying into this, right? So you have to slowly, because if they in that mind state already, it's not gonna happen overnight.
Oh no,
you know what I'm saying? But
It's
slowly but surely, by the time they turn 16, 17, they're gonna have the mind state of the 12-year-old. You get what I'm saying?
Correct.
Yeah.
So what I do is I just plant the seed. Like, hey man, you should be selling some candy.
Yeah.
You should be doing something.
Suggestion.
Because when I was at this age, I realized that there was a lack of thereof. And even though there's not a lack of thereof in your house,
Right.
you still gotta,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go to the grocery store 2 times a week.
Right.
In our household, we didn't get that. We got 2 times a month. The first and the 15th.
And the 15th.
Come on.
Yeah.
So it's a little different.
Yeah.
You know, and so I had to realize that, damn, these little motherfuckers is comfortable. They got it good.
Oh, real good.
They don't have to go to the grocery store. They got a mom and dad in the house. You know, like my son came home today talking about a girl who was cheating, and you know me, I'm like, you know, nigga, that's part of the game.
Yeah, definitely.
She gonna explore her options. She young. She don't know nothing else. Her job is to go to the next best thing.
And you don't know her parent. Her mama probably bringing different niggas home.
Come on now.
So what the daughter gonna do? This nigga ain't pay for my lunch today.
But young kids are so shallow and naive that they don't see that.
Right.
But that's where the experience comes in. Because we knew coming up, if the mama wasn't shit, the bitch wasn't gonna be shit.
Yeah.
But if I could say too,
I'm sorry,
I
not
think.
to disrespect.
Go ahead. Psh, we good. You can. We're all right. But I think what's
she
important.
She got on Chuck Taylors, nigga.
Come on now. Then why you gotta talk about my shoes, dog?
Ain't nobody talking about the shoes.
These are classic.
Hey, look,
he said,
look,
he was
if
like,
you came in with Chucks or Cortez, that shows a certain level of an individual.
Yeah, she understands.
Yeah.
If she would have had Cortez, I'd have been like, damn, she's fully aware. Shoes tell the story.
Yeah, definitely.
So what I was gonna say is that I think it's important. That's my boy.
South Central,
he's a
baby.
GQ over there. So I think it's really important as parents, right? Because he's in a similar situation. They're not adopted, right? But he's taking in kids that are not his. I think one of the things that I grew up and I wish I could have said, if you're going to talk about it, be about it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Just walk in your action and we will follow by your actions. But when you want to go live your life a certain way, but then you're going to tell us, oh, but don't lie. But okay, but you're going to do this, then I got a problem with that.
That's the way of the world, though.
You know what I mean? I don't care.
People
Not in the
never
house.
lie.
Not in the house.
Yeah.
But like, I want to
Keep
go
it
back.
100 where you live at.
Come on, if this is your home, if this is your rock, like family, they say you can't break up family, right? That's what I wish I had as an adopted foster kid, right? I wish I had what a lot of these families have because you guys are ride or die. Like no matter what you fight, you're always gonna love your mom and your dad. See, like imagine turning 18. I wasn't even 18 yet, and they're like, okay, like get out, or like you're 18 now. We don't gotta take care of you no more. We done our job. Like okay, excuse me.
So
is that what
that's
they did
funny
to
you
you?
say
Yes.
that. Me and Juice come from that. We come from that. Where at 18, it's like, well, you know what? Hands off.
But
I was living in Seattle.
I'm gonna be honest with you. What it made us,
see, I don't regret
because we went through the roller coaster, we went through the motions. So what it made us, it showed us that look, no matter what the shit look like, and that's all of us, we gonna reinvent ourselves. If we got to do it every month, every fucking 14 days, whatever it takes, because we understand what it takes to survive. But that's the difference between us and the younger generation.
Yeah.
And she said it in a nutshell. It's perfect.
I do got to say something about what you said. So you're 34. You got an 11-year-old. You work a whole lot of hours, right? Now, just imagine you see your daughter every night, but think about your foster dad, right? So he's working. He's coming home every night. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Even though it was late, and then he was in the bathroom, which was his office.
His office.
Right?
Yeah.
So he was going to work and coming back home. Your foster mom knew exactly what time he was going to get home. If he did anything different, it was a problem probably between them two. You know what I'm saying? You probably wasn't privy to that, but it was a problem between them.
No, but that was the problem, though, is that because my mom didn't go and talk about it, I had to hear all the problems as a kid. It's like, what do I look like?
But to me, that's more of a, like he said, like S said, when we were 18, 19 years old, it was like, shit, you're going to find your way. You know what I'm saying? So you being a foster kid at 18 and you had to find your way. We're black. Most black families, that's how it is back then. Now, kids be staying home till they 28. You know what I'm saying?
40. There's some guys that haven't even left the home yet. They're still with their parents.
Yeah.
I got a problem with that.
Yeah, definitely.
Like
but
I always say, people get mad at me because I said
not S, but Swaggy want the kid to leave at 18, just like, you know. So all I'm saying is, like, not to normalize it, but in those days it was kind of normal for at 18, and you're thinking in your mind like, oh, they ain't getting a check for me no more.
I'm not against that, but here's the thing: they kicked me out at 17, and what's funny is they did me dirty 7 bags deep on my first day of my grand opening of my job, and instead of going and crying a freaking river, I was like, I gotta go door to door and find a way to work, and I still had to carry 7 bags deep to go figure that stuff out. And then they swore they thought it was a tactical move that they thought, oh, she's gonna come running back and she's gonna learn respect because we're gonna show her what the streets like. You know what's funny? A hustler done figured it out.
So you was disrespectful.
No, what I did was I was honest.
Okay.
When she didn't let me come back, 100. I wouldn't stay with the white.
I did not like that it wasn't adding up. If you're going to be honest, okay, well then don't be doing things on the low and then expect me to be honest. But when I do something all of a sudden, and I'm not like, I love my mom and dad, and I tell them to this day, I'm so sorry for being the punk schmuck I was, because you didn't deserve that. I was not the best kid, but when you signed those papers when I was 2 years old, you knew when I came from a crack addict mother, when you knew that I was going to come with problems, you should have wrote it through. See, what I value is that, and this may not always be with everybody, but I see families, and when their kid goes out on the street, and if something happens, God forbid, the doors are open. You can come back home no matter what. Don't care if you're 40, 60 or nothing.
For some.
It
depends how far they push their families. Now, for me,
if you just push them with some words, you should always be able to come back. Unless you push them with stealing the fucking TV. You know what I'm saying?
Even then, I still see some of them still taking them back.
Now,
true.
I'm speaking from a social worker's perspective. I'm not speaking from a person who's
smoking crack.
No, I'm not speaking from a person who's on the outside seeing it. On the outside looking in. I'm speaking from a social worker perspective.
Yeah.
When you have a kid who pushes you to the abyss, you're going to be more reluctant to deal with his bullshit, knowing that you know that he needs meds, he needs a certain type of attention, especially in our culture.
Right.
And that's the fucked up part. Because in other cultures, especially in Hispanic cultures, they'll take on that responsibility. They'll find a way to get funded for it. They'll find a way to be home and do what they need to do. We don't have the patience for that with certain individuals.
Right.
Depending on the family. Now, with that being said, it's fucked up because now this person is prone to being in the streets. Now he's prone to having fucking DMH come and contact him and try to get him, and then now they're putting him on a hold because they realize that he's not fit for whatever's going on. DHS, DMH, whoever it is. So whatever it is, now the family tries to come back and play and say, you know what? We see what's going on. We're coming to get our family member. But the fact that that person has been conserved, it makes it 10 times harder for me to come back and get my brother Tony, as opposed to if we would have just rolled it out and tried to find ways to get him the help that he needs. And that's what's the difference between us and anybody else. And I see the shit every day.
So if I could say, Swaggy was kind of talking about it, you know, there's a lot impacted with these types of families. You know, when you have to survive and you got to figure it out. My goal is that Voices for Children taught me something special. These people give advocates, casas, you know, court-appointed special something. And they go and they kind of play the best friend to the foster child. But then what I find...
More of a parent partner.
Yeah, or friend. Or just...
Well, that's more of what a parent partner is. A parent partner comes in and sees what's going on. They're a person who has been through that experience themselves, and they're able to give guidance and understanding how to go through the process.
Yeah, I wish I had a casa when I was that age. But the thing that I find that it was interesting is that they ask, like, hey, from your perspective, the foster kid, what do you think you need? And they're like, we need someone to tell us how to brush our hair. Well, like, we need someone to teach us how to freaking do something as a man. I don't know the man side of it.
So,
but sometimes that's not like that.
Just to tell you, that's how I started. You know, I started in dealing with kids working in group homes. And so with that being said, a lot of those kids are so frustrated with the system that by the time they're of age to move on their own,
So tired.
regardless what it is, they don't want nothing to do with the system.
Oh my God.
They're not taking an ILP. They're not doing anything to help them move forward because they feel like they can do it on their own. And I've seen it for years. But for now, what I understand with a lot of these youngsters, and even grown people are stuck in their ways. And they want to do what they want to do. And I get that because at a certain point in life, none of us want to be told what we want to do, what to be due, none of that shit.
Sometimes, though, I find, because I was one of those people, I was stubborn, but when I heard and I respected, like I seen somebody of success do it, I'd be like, tell me what to do. Tell me where to go. I will do it. I'm so sick and tired of this survival. Get me out of that.
But that's you. Everybody doesn't have that epiphany at the same time that you have it. You can come out and tell everybody in the group home. You can be at a group home right now and say, look, if y'all don't get it together, this is what life is going to be. It could be 6 people in the group home. Only one person is going to take you serious.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. It's true.
So, with that being said, you just got to know that at this point in life, we got to go back to each one, teach one. And what that means is one soul at a time. Because if you try to do more than that, it's not going to get you where you're trying to go. And a lot of these young people, they got their mind made up because they have access to things that we have no access to, that we didn't have no access to. So with that, they feel like they're on another level of life.
Oh my God, I know.
His daughter, my kids, they feel like they're smarter than us.
You're right about
And
that.
in the sense, they are. Because they have way more access than we did. But the only difference between them and us is we're willing to find out the truth. They'll go by what somebody tells them.
That's the scary part. That's the scary part.
But it's the truth.
See, and I hope to God that in this day that something has to change. Like the school system, right? They haven't changed their curriculum for God knows how long. But people need to realize that if we're not keeping it raw with them in a sense, obviously within reason, then we're not going to get to them. And if we just keep it like, no, keep them safe, keep them pure, sure, but I don't know. From what I see from the people that are system impacted, you know, things got to change because too many people are going homeless. Too many people are turning to drugs. I'm hearing every day kids, young men and women, their kids are dying of fentanyl. You know, it's incarceration levels, and they're only investing more into these incarceration systems. And to me, I'm really glad to hear from the bottom, just coming from the community colleges, hearing that they're changing the adoption age from 18 to 21, hearing that there's more programs out for foster and adopted kids. Reach one, talk to one, I hear you, but this is the difference. I'm so thankful that I don't live my past life where I was partying. That was so much lost, right? And I just pray now that with where God has taken me in the government, in the student government, now coming from the schmuck, someone who actually has policy, like knowing how to change the law, knowing how to advocate for myself and be the voice to those that can't speak, that maybe there can be a change. It's got to start somewhere. And the more that people know, the more that people were going to hear about it and change.
There's definitely got to be a change. But I'm not one of those parents that's going to enable you. Yeah, I have a daughter that's 15, but I'm not going to enable you, and I'm not going to take care of you till you're not going to be living under my roof till you're 30, 40 years old. I'm not one of those parents because I see a lot of that going on these days. Parents got kids in their house, 21, 25. No, once you reach a certain age, you got to go. If you're not, especially if you're not in college. If you're not in college, if you don't have a job, and you're just sitting on your ass doing nothing, and think I'm gonna take care of you, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, that's
right. You better go out there and find your way.
I ain't mad at that. I'm not mad.
Find your way. I'm not taking taking care of no 21-year-old in my house.
But also, as far as they're doing something productive.
Goodbye. Get to stepping.
Can I say something on the side about that?
What you gonna say, Donnie?
No, nigga, you gotta grab the mic. We can't hear you.
I got girls, so my motto is this: my girls always welcome in my house, because if I don't, they'll turn to the street and be on Figueroa. You feel what I'm saying? Or another man have them up under their wing. So I don't give a fuck if my daughter 80 years old. That's mine forever.
Yeah, for sure.
This earth, I can't turn my back and say get out.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
respect.
'Cause I don't know the circumstances.
And that's what blows my mind is like, how does a dad do that to a daughter?
That's why I brought up the cable situation. Like, I done paid my daughter rent because she was like, "Oh, I just ain't got it." And like, well, fuck it, I go without.
That's something
shit.
different. Because they gotta get out the mud like we did.
The
But that
boys
baby
is something
girl,
different, but you can't, like me. I don't have favoritism between my kids.
Nigga,
you know what I
knock
mean?
it off.
I definitely don't. I definitely don't, because if my son needs something right now, I'm gonna give it to him.
We're not talking about that.
You know,
it's a difference between your daughter and your son.
Totally different.
It's
yeah, but the difference
because
is
your daughter is going to cater to you in a different way than your son is.
Totally different.
I understand that, but I'm saying the only difference is if
It's the way you treat him.
no, the man, as the boy, the son, he's supposed to do the things that the parent, the daddy does, right? Now, if you look at your kid's mama and be like, well, she turning out just like her mama, and I don't want her to be like that. So yeah, it may be extra help going on, but if the kid, the son, still needs the same type of help, you're supposed to help him the same type of way. You can't just say, oh, this is my daughter, I got to give her preferential treatment because she treats me a certain way. No, they both treat you in their own way because they're two different people. A man, which is your son, and a woman, which is your daughter, they're not going to treat you the same. A woman wants to be a nurturer, so yeah, she going to nurture to her daddy to get the things that she needs. And like my daughter will call me just to see what I'm doing. You think my son going to call me to see what I'm doing?
True.
Every now and then, you know what I'm saying?
So for me, it's the opposite.
It's something behind that. If he say, hey, what you doing? I'll be like, oh man, I'm blah, blah, blah. Then his next words is, "Oh, I want to have company." You know what I'm saying?
Something behind it.
Yeah, something behind it. My daughter, her what you doing is, nigga, what you doing?
So for me, it's
You know
the
what I'm
opposite.
saying?
If my daughter called me, she wants something.
Yeah,
Because everybody's different.
Yeah,
yeah.
she wants
They are
something.
different.
Now
Yeah.
my boys, they'll call me, Dad, what you doing? I'm just checking on you.
Everybody raises their different.
You know.
Oh shit! Well, I'm not saying I'm never gonna help him out, but I'm gonna help you out. You know, if you need some help, but you just know you're not gonna be living under my house. So
If I don't hear from my daughter in 2 days,
So
I'm
does this
gonna
mean,
tell you
does
this
this
right
mean
now.
that since
I'm gonna tell you
she's
right
not
this
under your
right now.
household, you're gonna buy her an apartment though?
I'm gonna tell you like this
I'm
right
not
now.
gonna buy you an apartment. I'm
If
not
she
gonna
ain't
pay you
living with
rent.
you,
I'm not
if she
gonna.
ain't- Hey, listen.
I'm not gonna get you a car. You're gonna have to get that on your own. Get you
Dang,
a car, an
it's a good day
apartment
not
on
to
your
be-
own.
not
Now,
to
if
be
you need
Swaggy D's kid,
if
damn.
you need a couple dollars, I got you on that.
Couple
But I'm
dollars?
not.
Kinda
I'm not
go buy a
paying.
high
I'm not
heel
paying
with
your
that.
rent.
That first car,
You better go get you a
you
job.
better buy. I'm gonna tell you why.
Oh yeah, the first car I'm gonna buy, but I'm
You
saying
buy.
after.
I'm gonna tell you, man.
Even
It's
listen,
gonna-
My daughter's
even
only
the
15
second
years
car,
old. I got a
you
teenager.
a-
She
you a
wants to
grown man.
upgrade. She's gonna want some money on
Oh
it.
yeah, I'm gonna get her first car, but after
No.
that, I'm done.
No, you're not.
Don't call me for another
You're
car.
not.
Hey,
You're
let's all
not.
You better have
remember
a
this
job by
moment,
then.
and when
You're
she's
not.
that age and we looking
Because
at
I'm
him,
gonna tell you.
we're
I'm
like,
gonna tell you something funny about that.
And then
All
after
of a
you, I want to
sudden-
say something
I
too.
had the same. I said the same thing.
I think different
But
from
when
you.
she wrecked it, when she wrecked that
I
car,
think different from you and Juice.
well,
You know what I mean?
you're absolutely right.
You still helping out yours. You still helping out his
Nigga,
daughter.
that's because
know
your
why?
daughter like
I'm not
15.
doing that.
Why?
I'm
You know
done.
why?
That's only because
You
your
know
daughter
why?
is only 15.
Right.
It's
My
different.
daughter's in college.
How old is your daughter?
She's
My daughter's
graduating.
20. She'll be 25
on May
in June.
20th.
Exactly. And you still helping her out.
I am.
Buying her a car and shit.
I'm not doing that. I didn't buy her a car. I gave
Tony
her
over here
money
like, why
to
not?
help
I'm
her
gonna
buy a
the rest
car.
of her life.
That's a difference.
I'm not
That's
doing
a
none of that.
difference. If the car
25 years old, you better figure it out.
No, man.
You better have a job
Yo,
now.
Swaggy D
Stop
will
it.
hurt
Stop
you.
it.
You gonna help them
But-
girls out, nigga.
Look, listen.
I
And
came
then-
from a third world country where I didn't have nothing.
Yeah, see? There's
Okay?
You gonna help them out.
Time out.
Let's hear Swaggy D. Let him let him speak.
Before Swaggy
Let
D
me
say,
speak.
Let
hold
him
on, before
cook.
I've
you
been,
say
I've been,
this.
I've been sitting here letting y'all
No,
talk.
no.
Let me talk.
All right, go ahead.
Y'all been sitting. I've been sitting here quiet, letting y'all talk. Pasadena Sean.
My point is
held the
gonna
mic
kill
for an
you.
hour. Stop enabling these kids. That's why you're hindering them from teaching them. You're not teaching them responsibilities.
No Diddy.
And I see it a lot. A lot of my friends are doing that, enabling these kids. That's why they out here struggling, doing drugs and doing dumb shit, gang banging, doing bullshit.
You want some bullshit?
Teach them responsibilities.
And
if you're not in college or have a college degree and you don't have a decent job,
that's of age.
Get your ass out there and figure it out. Because I had to figure it out on my own.
Leia to the fucking Dion.
Hold on.
They all got degrees.
Listen, let me say this real quick. So,
cut it out.
As a grown man, right? You, him, me,
Not it.
Donnie, Tone, even Donovan, right? We've all needed some help as a fucking grown adult.
At some point.
As a grown adult, I'd ask, man.
Get it.
Do you remember this, nigga? And I tell people this all the time. Do you remember you being up on Lake, right? And I was like, man, nah, I can't go with y'all tonight, nigga. I am broke. Like, when I say broke, I am broke. And you remember you was like, here, I got a few dollars for you. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember that.
I was a fucking adult. You get what I'm saying? I was an adult.
All of us.
As an adult, we all need some help sometime.
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna be
So
that cool.
if it was anything you ever asked me for, I'd be like, yeah, I got you.
Oh yeah,
you feel me?
You have my back.
So
Pasadena
it comes,
Sean's had my
but
back.
it comes from that moment with me. I didn't ask you for
forget.
that. You get what I'm saying? I didn't ask you.
Forget.
I just told you my situation.
We don't forget.
You know what I'm saying? And you came out of your heart to be like, here you go. You know? So flip it around to your own child. If your child is doing everything that you want her to do, and she say, hey, Dad, this month I had to pay for braces. I had to say she got a kid. I had to pay for an orthodontist.
Like,
I had to pay for this, and I just don't have $500 of my rent. You telling me you not going to give it to her?
Call your mama.
There's no way in hell.
Swaggy TV lying.
Swaggy, call your mother.
There's no way in hell.
Swaggy, you better do
You know
it.
why?
Swaggy
You know why?
lying. Swaggy lying. He lying.
Now I'm telling you. So you know what's funny?
Yeah.
You know what's funny about his daughter?
Yeah.
She'll ask me before she asks him.
But you know what? I'm with Swaggy D on this because I'll tell you this. I said a little bit of
Well,
things.
fuck you too. No.
But I'm with him because you know what? Let me tell you something. Empathy, right? I have compassion for my parents. I love them till death, okay? Till death. I don't care what they do to me. I'll always love them because you know why? Their parents came from third world countries too. Mm-hmm. They were first generation Mexican American. Mm-hmm. They had to hustle and bustle to make it happen. So I forgive them. You know what I mean? For being so hard. Because at the end of the day, my dad, I'm one of the strongest kids in my whole family. Don't care what none of them say. I love you guys, but it's the truth. You know why? Because I learned how to pay my bills. I learned how to pay my rent. I learned how to fix my car.
Did it come through failure?
Where did you learn
Hell
Did it come
yeah.
through failure?
But I never failed. I win or I learn.
Where did you learn it from, though?
Why?
So
Wait. I'm asking her a question. I'm asking her.
straight up,
Can I ask her? Who did you learn it from?
when it came, it depends what we're
You
learning.
been laying all night.
My mom did not teach me how to
You been
cook.
flying in there.
My mom did not teach me how to cook.
So
We
your
ate-
dad?
My dad just paid the bills. He just gave my mom the money. My
So
mom
you had to
the
learn
bucks.
it on your own.
I did. I really did. I had to go out and be homeless, you know? Like, I had to go out and knock door to door and find my own rides. I had to learn how to freaking grind it out. I had to learn how to talk to people, you know? When it came down to selling my candy, I had to go door to door to door. So I got used to, like, this is straight up, why am I a good communicator? I had to learn how to ask for help. I didn't want to, but it was either that or I was going to die. You know what I mean? Like, God bless my dad. My dad's a mechanic. He loves cars. You know, thank God he loves cars because he actually did try to teach me. If I asked him, hey, Dad, teach me.
Right.
He'd be like, all right, I'll
Did
teach
you
you.
watch him do mechanic work?
No, because that was his time. He's like,
So
leave
you
me the
didn't
hell
go
alone.
intervene and just watch
No,
him?
eventually as I got older, I've the only way I could get close to my dad, I love my dad. He's my only dad. My other dad, I don't know his name. My mom hit it and quit it, smashed it and dashed it. You know what I mean? So it's
She
like,
was at the 35er.
With the white.
Yo,
White.
It's called
Shit.
a dirty diver.
she was out in Long Beach, but you know what? Like,
She was on the pike.
yeah. So, but
On
here,
Pine.
to me, I love my dad so much. The reason why I love mechanics and I love cars is because that was the only way I could get through to that man.
Yeah.
We talk cars. Why did I become the tomboy? Because that was the only way I could get close. He was so guarded through his struggles and his trauma. I had to learn, because he didn't talk to me about it, I had to learn about his pill-popping mother. I had to learn about his father, who was out working himself and all those problems. My dad's an amazing man, a father of true tradition who literally went to work every single day, never took a day off. The only 1 week he had off, he spent it taking his kids out to the national park. My dad's an amazing man. He's really cold. He doesn't really have a strong heart. Like, you know, some
He doesn't
people,
have feelings like
he doesn't
that.
have feelings. But
Yeah.
you know what? I understand why the man has to teach your son now. You got to know what the world's going to give you, because if you can't learn to shut that off, you're not going to make it.
Does he? If you ask him for something today or you need help today, you think he'll help you?
No. Hell nah. But let me tell you, my parents,
That's not
She's 34 years old.
let me tell you
So
though.
can I just say this real
Go
quick?
ahead.
Timing in what you just said. Every household is not like that. You get what I'm saying? That's why God made us all different
Yeah.
individuals.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So we can all live our lives different.
way
I'm not
we
going to
want
live
to.
my life like Juice. I'm not going to live my life like Sean. And I'm not going to live it like you. We're all going to live our lives different. So in that process of living our lives different, it also starts what you can, where it starts from the home, what you was raised in, how you was raised. Now, are we going to be rebellious? Heck yeah.
It's in our code.
We all going to be rebellious. But timing back into what you were saying, as far as, I don't care if my daughter, as long as they're helping themselves, I don't mind helping anyone, not just my daughter or my son.
Yeah, if they're doing something positive.
That's
My
what I
dad-
just
If they're
said.
going to college, going
That's
to
what I
school,
just said.
have a
used to say
trade,
that.
Didn't I just say
have
that?
a job.
They can have a job.
But if
Didn't I
they're,
just
sitting
say
there,
that?
if they're sitting there being
Okay,
bums,
listen to me.
in
Listen to
slums,
Because my
you gonna
grandmother,
still take care of
I
them?
had to go back home as an adult one time because of the dumbass decisions I made in life that brought me back home. But thank God that my grandmother just throw me out and say, okay, you can't stay here. But the only reason I knew I could stay there is because I had to be productive.
I don't want to hear that cliche. We all are different and we all this. No, we all need to be on the same. We all need to think the same.
That's not going to happen.
And the world will be a better place.
What planet is that
I
going to
don't
happen?
want to hear that cliche.
That's not gonna
We all
happen.
think different. We all God
That's
made us
not gonna
different.
happen.
We all need to think the same way. And this world will be a better place.
That's not going to happen.
I don't want to hear that cliche.
What planet is that going to happen?
Wait. You always say that bullshit cliche. Well, we all different. We all think different. We all need to think the same.
No.
This world gonna be a better place.
Hold up, he's onto something.
Okay.
because-
No, listen to me.
But how is the
No, he's
Bible
not.
written
He's
for
not
everybody?
onto
We all
something.
said that the Bible was a fact, right? Simple, made in code. It's
That's
the same
right.
that works for
Okay,
everybody.
but listen, we
Basic
read it on
instructions
our
before
own. We
leaving
have
Earth.
our own
God
perspective
created
of
us
it.
beautifully. He's the
I
greatest
get that part.
creator.
I don't want to
I
cut
know.
everybody off, but I'm going to just say this.
Come on, dude.
This episode taught me that we all need therapy.
Y'all do need therapy.
Y'all, you
niggas stop
definitely,
using the word you do.
you definitely
Y'all
need
need your
therapy.
problem
Y'all need
because
Dr.
you using
Phil,
the word y'all.
Oprah, all them.
No,
you not included?
You definitely need
You
therapy.
think you not included?
Because you got some shit
No.
that you
The
need
woman
to,
at my job
you
watched
got
our
some
show,
shit that you
and
need
she
to
said
unpack
that we
from
all
your
need
childhood that makes you feel like
You hear me?
you want to treat your
You hear me?
child because you just like an African,
Oh.
right? You a Belizean, but you're
He
like an
said black.
African.
He said
An
African.
African look at Black Americans and they say, "Oh, you come from America. You have everything at your fingertips."
So he's stereotyping
And I
us
come
from
from
jump.
you're stereotyping
We live
everybody.
in America where
But
opportunities.
it's different, bro.
come from a
You just
third world
got here.
country.
Mostly everybody that you know, that's your friends, came from or their parents
when you met
came
me.
from the slums.
The opportunity you brought was a
You know what I'm
fucking
saying?
lawyer.
Came from the slums, bro. Came from the slums.
But as far as you getting
I was
validated in
the
trenches,
kid-
it came from us.
Look, I was the kid that if I was going to spend the night over your house, you know what I had to do before I came to your house?
What's that?
I had to shake out all my clothes. to make sure I didn't take my roaches to your house.
To your roaches.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't want your cucarachas.
Nigga, I'm pouring.
I don't want no cucaracha.
I don't want no raisin bran because
You don't understand
roaches
that.
look like
You
raisins.
don't understand that.
You know what I'm saying?
That's why I'm saying we're different.
So
because
we all
only reason
different,
I say
bro.
we're different
You
is
think coming
because
from a third world country is different? No, nigga.
Yeah, it is different. Y'all don't know what it is to struggle in America.
Man, stop
It's
it.
true.
No.
It's true.
First of all, you do not
It's
know how to
true.
struggle in America.
I'm with them.
Nigga, I waited in cheese lines for fucking powdered eggs, flour.
That's
Some
not
bullshit.
That's not struggling.
Nigga, that is
Food
struggling.
stamps is not
You
struggling.
had food available.
It wasn't-
Food
resources
stamps is not
available.
struggling. Government cheese is not struggling.
Have y'all niggas ever ate government cheese?
Yes,
Have
I grew
y'all?
up on that. Wick all
it's
day.
my fault I was
that's
born
not,
in
that's
America.
not struggling?
No.
Why not?
What he's
about that
talking
part?
about is like not being insulated housing. Like
Okay, is it my fault that I was born in America?
all of a sudden he's like, but is it my fault?
No.
It's not. But this is all I hear right now is
Don't
my
compare it.
version.
You can't compare it.
You can't. But
I'm not comparing.
Coming from a
Look,
third world country
I
to
never
America.
compared the two. I just said we're different.
yes, accepting
That's all I
we
said.
are different.
Our
but
struggles were the same but different.
Thank you.
Nigga, you can go
Yeah.
outside and
The
catch you an
same.
iguana
Right.
and
We're all
climb
right.
up a tree for some coconuts and you got mangoes growing. You had all the shit growing.
Y'all have
You
milk
have
and orange
pure
juice.
fruit.
I had sugar water.
We didn't have milk and orange
I
juice.
didn't have Kool-Aid.
We had to buy the
I
orange
had
juice.
sugar water.
We
Fuck
had
is you
sugar
talking
water,
about?
a slice of bread all day long. I went days without
I
just
had
eating a
that
slice
too.
of bread.
I had that too.
Cut it out.
I had that too. I was pouring syrup on bread.
Yes.
Nigga, that was my pancake.
My shit was
sounds kinda
cinnamon
good.
toast.
Shit.
You put it in the bottom of the oven. You put cinnamon toast. I didn't like butter.
But see, this nigga was balling to me because he had electricity or gas to turn on the oven. No, I'm just pouring syrup on the bread.
dude, my mom said she used to just
Same
get
meal.
bread and butter. That was it.
Made different.
Yeah, exactly.
They
You know
didn't
what I'm
even
saying?
get
It was on the
jelly.
air fryer.
Shit.
They didn't even get syrup.
Man, we've been on
They
this
grew
show.
up
This
with
been about 2
cockroaches.
hours on this show. We was only supposed to do 45
He said
minutes,
this
man.
was gonna be quick too.
You know what I'm saying?
No,
but
see, this
that's
is what happened.
Every time somebody says it's gonna be quick, it's a long ass show.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
Right.
thank
M.I.A. in
you.
the building.
M.I.A. in the motherfucking building. But I gotta cut this off at some goddamn time. You know what I'm saying?
You're the host.
Hey,
You want to keep your
and-
job?
No, no. What happened?
You want to keep your job?
So listen, so
I'm the-
you know what that means.
What happened was
I'm the executive producer. He's the host.
What
Remember
happened
that.
was your ass wasn't saying shit, so I had to bring your ass into the conversation,
He was in it.
and then
And you
you
took
got
over
in
at
it.
that point. I remember.
And
I
shit.
remember.
That's when
That
you
was
went on.
episode 2.
I'm the executive producer. You're the host.
Hey, you can be whatever you want to be. I ain't here to say you ain't or you is.
Your nickname
If that's
is
what you call
Mandarin
yourself,
Pimp.
that's what you are. Shit. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Hey.
That nigga's Mo Diddy. We know Diddy.
I'm the CEO. I'm the CFO, and I'm the producer. Remember that.
What does CFO mean?
Chief Financial Officer.
Sheesh.
Okay, you know a little something. So line my pockets with some green.
All right, it's coming.
You know what I'm saying?
He's like, is it the
Yeah,
15th?
Man,
check
this shit
is
is
coming.
brought to you by Famously Broke, you know what I'm saying? New Wave Barbershop, like they just said earlier, man. They put on a show this weekend, man, on Sunday. Had the free haircuts for the community, you know what I mean? So,
Shout out to Taste of Culture.
Taste the culture.
also, you know what I'm saying? We have M.I.A., you know what I mean? We had her clothing line here, you know what I'm saying? Elevated Saints, and the other one is M.I.A.
Memories in Action.
Amen. You know what I'm saying? And Flossie B not here, but you know, Slaps About a Pound is also on iTunes and wherever the fuck you get your music. And we also have What's Understood, you know what I mean, by Pasadena Shine.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying?
Great album.
Yeah, great album. You know what I'm saying? And we got Swaggerless D. That shit is on all major nothing.
Actor / model. Go check me out on Bel Air and All American.
Excuse me.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Season 4.
Season 4. I'm on the episode of Bel Air. Go check me out.
Go check him out. You know what I'm saying? You'll see him, you know, walking past in
He's
the
in there
club.
finger fucking himself.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. No,
Tony was like,
Donnie, this is some real shit. He on Bel Air. No, he on Bel Air. You know what I'm saying?
It's the new Will Smith, Bel Air Fresh Prince. The new one.
He said, I'm not with
He
it.
on there.
He on the episode.
What are you doing?
Extra.
Yourself.
Hey, if I could just say too, thank you guys so much for having me here. I really appreciate the opportunity to be here and get a great chat with you guys.
Most definitely.
Thanks again to New
We
Wave.
appreciate you here.
Hold on, we need your last words before
We definitely we're gonna start with her. She giving her last words now.
All right.
Sometimes this shit ain't scripted.
Right.
It really was.
See, that's
Watch
what
your
you
mouth,
would know if you
Gucci.
can be the host. You just let shit flow.
All
Okay?
right. Do your thing.
Jerry curl wearing ass nigga.
Jerry Curl.
Shit.
You look like a nigga off
Straight
Robert
coming into
Townsend.
a roast. Now we went from podcast to
Hey, that
roast.
process
Right.
we getting to him sometime.
Roast
see,
toast.
see, you say you a mutt, right?
Yeah.
We black, right? He's a Belizean, but he's a light-skinned Belizean. He's the worst of the worst. You know what I'm saying? Light-skinned niggas is different.
I don't associate with
different.
y'all.
That's girl in love.
Okay?
I mean, I know they did.
No,
but
he
that's
should have
for
took it
sure.
out quicker. Shit, man.
I'm an other. I'm not black. I'm not.
Yeah, hell yeah. When he went to jail, he was
checked
an
the
other.
other too. I
That
did
nigga was
too.
a paisa.
I'm a
When he was in
other.
jail, he was
I
a paisa.
believe it.
Hell
I
yeah.
believe it.
That nigga was in there.
Remember when he was in jail? He was a
Me know-
Paisa.
he was like-
he told me, he's like, nigga,
Me
I'm
know
running
English.
with the Paisas.
He was like,
He said,
me
I'm
know
in here speaking
English.
Spanish and
And
breaking
then nigga
hair.
be like, oh, what's up, homie? He be like, me know English.
Yeah.
me know English.
No,
He don't want to go through no politics, nigga.
Oh, wow.
You know what I'm saying? So we're going to get some last words from M.I.A. You know? Sorry.
Well, no, hey, I mean, your show, I'm just saying, sitting here just chilling. But last words again, thanks again so much for the opportunity to really talk about it, right? There's so much developing for those out there that are going to be tuning in, watching in. _memories in action, Instagram. Keep a lookout. Elevated Saints is coming up hot. If you're not staying elevated, remember, get elevated and make sure every day when you're out on the streets walking, every day, ask yourself, how do I elevate my life today? How am I going to stay elevated? And then you go out and start elevating the people, whether that's just with a smile, whether that's just being nice, compliment, giving a gift. We had so much giving in a Taste of Culture yesterday. Share that love, keep it going. And thank you guys again.
Say that there.
What I wanted to say about when you were saying that, because you said the same thing earlier, right, is if you're on the airplane, right, and it's going down, what do they tell you?
You got to put the mask on yourself first. That's honestly a big part of Elevated
what I'm
Saints. I
saying?
think about that a lot.
So, let me give you that, because that's what I thought about every time you said that. You know what I'm saying?
dope.
Yeah, that's dope. So, yeah, you got to look out for yourself, and then you can look out for others.
Because then you're going to be draining your battery and you're not going to be able to give out. You know what I mean? And I know we all have a heart and we all want to help deep down inside. I encourage that. Please, there's so many people out there that they put on a brave face and they're out there just trying to be their best. But deep down inside, we come wounded. Damn right. I need therapy. I'm in
Definitely.
therapy actively.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? And don't be afraid to be vulnerable. Don't be afraid to say, like, hey, you know what? Like, I'm struggling with some things, especially with the things that are going on now, especially with the things that are changing. Nobody's safe right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So keep that in mind. You know what I mean? Like, you matter. You matter. It's okay to, it's not selfish. It's self-love. Don't be afraid to say, you know what? I deserve to take care of myself and I'm going to be the best person I can be today. And if you have the means to do it, then go out and be about it. You know what I mean? Practice what you preach. People don't listen off words. You could talk about it all day, but if you're not putting it in action, nobody's going to respect it.
Facts. Pasadena Sean, last words, my boy.
Man, this was a beautiful conversation. I just want to say that at the end of the day, I learned something from this, and I'm going to take it on into the world, and I'm going to show my love. So with that being said, at the end of the day, thank you all for bringing something to the table that was very useful for all of us.
Amen.
That's it.
Swaggy D.
Like M.I.A. was saying,
I was going to say swaggerless.
Swaggy D. Yeah, but this is a great show. We touched on a lot of stuff. Because you guys always criticize me about talking about celebrities and rich people, but this is what I'm talking about. we gotta support people that are from the bottom. Don't look up to these celebrities and these billionaires. You know, you guys always say, "Oh, I'm a hater. I'm a this." I'm not a hater. I look out for the little people. I don't care about these celebrities who are rich and famous. I care about people like M.I.A. and me, who come from a third world country. You know, people who don't have families and foster kids, and you know, people out here homeless. That's who I care about. I'm always constantly looking out for people. You know what I'm saying? I see somebody in the street, I'm giving them $2, $3. You need something, brother? What you need? I got you. You know what I mean? This is what we got to do. We got to help people who are less fortunate. Fuck people who are successful. We don't feel sorry. I don't feel sorry for people who are successful and got shit going on in the world and they take it for granted. We got to look out for the people who are from the bottom trying to get to the top, because we want to get to where they're at. So let's look out for each other. You know what I'm saying?
Elevated.
Let's elevate each other, the ones who ain't got it, so we can get there. You know? So thank you guys. We had a great, it was a great show, and thank y'all. Dina Boy Jews, Pastina Sean, and M.I.A.
Man, amen. That's the best shit you done said the whole season. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe start dropping knowledge on y'all.
Man, shit, knowledge behind you.
Okay.
Knowledge is
Tony
behind
Touch.
you.
Might stop drop knowledge on
Man,
you.
my message is always the same, man. Be better than you was yesterday. You know what I'm saying? Be better than you was yesterday. And that also includes, like, to incorporate everything that everyone else was saying. You know, you have to help yourself before you help somebody else. You know what I mean? So if you're not elevated, you know, see, elevated saints to me embodies you're elevated. Now you want to be that saint. Now you want to be that saint to other people. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, if you can't help yourself, you can't help nobody else. You know what I mean? So if I ain't got 2 quarters to rub together, then how can I give you one of my quarters? Because now I can't rub 2 of them together. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to help myself before I help you. And after I help myself and I'm helping y'all, hopefully you see what I'm doing and you will help the next person. Yep. And that's how shit grows beyond you. And that's what we all want a community to be. Because if I help you, you'll be like, you know, let me pay it forward and help somebody else. And then hopefully they do it. And now you got a community of people that's helping other people. And that's what this world, not country, that's what this world is supposed to be about. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, that's my last word, man. Just be better than you was yesterday. And, you know, Swaggy said he'd give him $2 or $3. I give him 10. You know what I'm saying? We are not the same. No. I'm fucking with you. Jeez. But you know what I'm saying?
New Wave Shop Talk.
As long as you help somebody out, you know what I mean? Right. Every day.
Cash out.
Plan to help somebody. I don't give a damn if it's you walking past somebody and they got a lot of groceries and you like, hey, let me help you with these groceries. You know, it don't matter if you giving money or if you giving wisdom to something. You know what I'm saying? Always help somebody out. Lend a helping hand. You know what I'm saying? And the playoffs is about to start. NBA is going down. You know what I mean? Draft was tonight. You know, we didn't speak on a lot of stuff I wanted to speak on because the conversation was just flowing. So, you know, we'll get back to y'all next week. And, you know,
Clippers going to win the championship.
Yeah. Clippers might win the championship.
That's right.
You know? We're going to keep that in your space because y'all balling. So but the Lakers got the best record after All-Star break. Even though y'all went on like a streak, we still got the best record since All-Star break. You know what I mean? So, you know, you gotta give it up for us. But I love all y'all. No, I'm just fucking with y'all. I don't love y'all. No. But yeah, man, we out, man. This New Wave Shop Talk, man. I ain't got no more to say because I'll keep going. Peace.
Peace out.
You're now tuned in to the #1 podcast. I give you New Wave Shop Talk, Shop Talk, Shop Talk.